Yes, welcome back to DR Sports for another Saturday football show. It's the first time I've been here on this show in around 6 weeks, so I'm over the moon to be back. It's a pleasure and an honour to be back in these DR Sports studios. A little upgrade. We've moved, maybe you guys can't really see it at home, but we've moved into a bigger space. So bigger and better. Loads of 3 o'clock kickoff to talk through Newcastle, Leeds, Bournemouth, Palace, Fulham, Southampton and Man City, Everton. But I can't go through them on my own, can I, gents? It would be a foul and a shame to do that. So I've only gone and brought some very special guests with me. To my left, it's great to have him back. It's my bro, Fuad. How you doing, bro?
All good, bro. All good. Good to be
to
back.
see you again.
I love a good Saturday football show. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It's back amongst it, the 3 o'clock
Good
kickoffs
games as
and
well.
everything
Good
else.
games.
Very good games as well. To my right, we've got not Toby, but Tosin. How you doing, fella? Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. Welcome back from Qatar.
Thank you,
Take
sir.
This hat off now.
Yeah. Happy. That's why we're wearing it, because it is New Year's Eve tonight. We're all in the mood for the new year. And to my left, we've got Nicky Hawkins from West Ham Fan TV. That's the most joy he's exerted in the last 24 hours after his team West Ham have lost 5 in a row.
Happy New Year.
He's throwing hats across the studio already, so it's good to see we're back in that Berlin ground atmosphere already. How you doing, fella?
Been better.
Been better. Well, listen.
Been a lot better.
New year tomorrow, so new beginnings.
Happy New Year, boys.
Happy New Year.
Honestly.
You know
Happy
what?
New
Yeah,
Year.
All
let's
the
get these
joy
over.
there. Let's pop a
Give it
drink.
a shake, because why not? For content purposes.
Whee.
Oh!
Jason specifically told you not to do that.
That's haram.
James, brother, you got to take this off now.
Oh, this ain't work.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, that would have been
Sorry
perfect.
about that, gents. Alcoholic?
Non-alcoholic.
I'll take alcoholic.
There you go, mate. Enjoy some
mate.
finest carver.
That was the time, if
No
anything,
expenses
to
spared.
blow this.
Sorry about
Man's
that,
a bit
gents.
busted.
That'll get clipped up, I'm sure. You had my bad, bro.
Happy New Year,
Anyway.
gentlemen.
Happy New
Year,
Year
guys.
to health,
New Year's, boys.
wealth, prosperity,
And Arsenal winning the league.
and
Easy now. Easy
I'm
now.
not sure about that. I can't toast to that, but I'm sure a lot of people in the comments will. Hands are soaking.
Yeah.
Mad, innit?
Mad.
So this is
innit?
what blows
Twins.
people mind. He's a twin with Toby. He supports Tottenham, but he supports Arsenal.
Yeah. But he's a snake because
Straight away, get it in there.
most people were supporting Arsenal. I think it's weird. I think he just did it to be anti, basically, because Arsenal were obviously the better
There's
team.
always one, isn't there?
Yeah,
in the family,
He just did it to be anti.
I can't lie to you. It was a similar case to me, you know.
So, everyone's supporting Arsenal. I'm not going to support Arsenal. I'm gonna support
we came
Spurs.
from Holland when I was about 7 or 8, and everyone was like picking their teams. And my dad was Chelsea straight away. He loved Zola, and
Zola,
my
nice.
brother went Arsenal. Everyone sort of went. I was like, come on, you coming United or you coming Arsenal? I was like, I'm not going either one. I'm going that team across the road. They're like, why? It's like Leslie King. I met him. That's it.
That was the reason.
Oh, are you from around Tottenham?
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, around Edmonton,
Yeah.
Enfield, Tottenham, them sides, there's more Spurs fans than
Yeah.
there are Arsenal
Yeah.
fans. So that
And then when you get to Essex sides, for some reason, there's an explosion again. as well,
Harlow,
yeah.
isn't it? Harlow's
Yeah,
mad.
yeah. I don't know why, but
Yep.
there's a big concentration of Spurs fans there as well.
More the merrier. Loads of guys getting involved in the comments already. Nicky's in the building. Says CS. He is. He's happy as well.
Just about.
RIP Pele as well. A lot of people saying.
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
And
man.
I feel like it would be remiss not to at least mention the great Pele.
Yeah.
After his death, he's 82. We all know what he
Sad.
achieved in the game at such a young age. 3 World Cups. And I think it's true what they say. Whatever Messi and Ronaldo did, Pele did it first.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he is truly one of the greats, if not the greatest footballer that has ever kicked a ball.
Yeah.
Really. So, massive shout out to Pele, and you know, we're all thinking of him, and it's a massive loss for the sporting world, not just the football world, the world in general, because of the kind of guy he was as well. But yeah,
he's like
unbelievable.
he's like the first football
Superstar,
yeah,
for sure.
First.
I
global
remember
one, and it's-
growing up, and I remember my dad used to speak about Pele over and over again. He loved Pele, and I thought I presumed he'd passed away already. Like it's because you don't see legends that are.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
are and he went, no, he's still alive. You know what I mean? And he's lived a long. Well, he was 82, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Long
So
life.
he wasn't as old as you'd have thought.
But
he
he's
was,
one of
but
those faces who
he's-
you've always seen throughout the years.
Yeah,
no matter
yeah.
what current greats you've got in no matter what era, whether it's the 80s, 90s, thousands, he's always been there to embrace that next generation. And you look
Do you know
at
what I
remember
remember
him
of
as?
him and Muhammad Ali as well, isn't there?
One with Bobby Moore.
Iconic.
Bobby
It's
Moore
the,
when
it's
he
the
got his
iconic
arm
one.
around
Yeah,
him,
they've got that up around the stadium and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make you laugh, and I shouldn't probably do this, but I remember him as the face of erectile dysfunction.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was, yeah,
Money
yeah,
happy
he was the
Mick.
face of
Money
erectile
happy Mick.
dysfunction. You know what I mean? He used to come on the telly and go, "Don't be shy if you've got a little problem." And all this.
A little problem. Yeah, I saw. I only found out like yesterday he never played in Europe. Like
Yes.
that's
And
he played for
New York
yeah,
Cosmos.
New York Cosmos.
that's
yeah.
I've
mental.
got his New York
And-
Cosmos
and
shirt.
He had that much influence, and he never left South America. Well, never left the
Americas,
Americas. That's mad.
It's crazy. It just goes to show you how high a standard he was held
Yeah.
and what he was doing at a World
Wow.
Cup at 17. Yeah, and you even deep it in that kind of time and context, being a black boy in the
Yeah.
50s, becoming the absolute greatest, not only in your sport but then across the globe,
Wow.
is something you'll never see again, in my opinion, honestly. And that's why they kind of call him the King and Eternal, because
Yeah.
it's unspoken.
Because what he's doing, because like what you hit on, what he did transcends football itself.
Oh, for sure.
And that's why
powerful.
the greats like Ali and all these in other sports pay that respect. And even till now, people are still giving him that homage, despite the fact, as you say, is
Yeah.
he's never played in Europe. He's never
That's
played the Champions League.
so
But you
mad.
look at him like he's broken so many grounds and done so many things at such a young age, up until his later careers. You just have to tip your hat and just say
of
rest
course.
in peace, man.
Credit.
Rest
Wow.
in peace, Pele. Of course, TB1 saying South American football was better than Europe at that time. He won a couple of Intercontinental Cups in
And that was-
600 odd games for Santos, scored 600.
Do you know what the funny thing was? Well, every time he played the great teams of that time, whether it was the Madrids, the Manchesters, he always scored, and Santos always won comfortably as well. So it's not a thing where you can say he just hid in the South America, because a lot of them times they used to play those cross-continental friendlies.
Yeah.
He would always kill
Before
it.
the money came into the game, it was a lot more even across the world, not just in Europe. It was like, you wouldn't have these huge divides between sort of a Premier League side and a Belgian league side. They
Yeah.
would be, I wouldn't say evenly matched, because,
But more one player can make an entire
yeah,
difference.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's mad, man. It's mad.
Wow.
Listen, descansa en paz, Pele. That's the old Spanish way or Portuguese way of saying it. But there you go. Right, let's get into some of today's news then. Obviously, Marcus Rashford, who was dropped for the game today at Wolves, but he's come off the bench and scored a great goal and then got a second one, which was disallowed. But Manchester United win the game 1-0, a massive win for them in their quest to finish in the top
I've got
four.
a bit of inside information. It seems like Moyes has been sacked.
Ooh, wow.
I don't think it's come out
Is
yet.
that
but
live?
It's from a very good source.
That's a DR exclusive
Yeah,
right there.
I'm just getting it through now. It looks like he's been sacked.
Good.
Remember when you heard it first?
Well, you are hearing it here first. Trust us. It's the first place you will have heard that. Obviously, Nicky,
Facts.
very close to people at West Ham and obviously everyone around the club. And you're telling us through a source that you've just got that David Moyes is no longer the West Ham manager.
It's come from a very, very good source, so I'll be very surprised if that don't come out during the show.
Wow. Well, if it does, just remember, you heard it here first. DR Sports exclusive.
It's a fact.
Wow, that's unbelievable. What is your instant reaction to that? We'll get back onto United and Rashford, but what is...
It needed to happen.
I mean, you came in and said he needs to go maybe 10
facts.
minutes ago.
Needs to go.
Did you watch that last night?
Yes.
It's
Awful.
pathetic.
5 losses in a row.
It's the worst it's been since before he took over.
I
Yeah.
just, do you know what? I'm just uploading we do a show called The Morning After the Game before, where you sort of take your time to divulge things. And if you watch it, go and watch our fan cams last night on West Ham Fan TV. It was shocking. It was absolutely shocking, and it gets everything wrong now. I can't understand where. I know what it is. He hasn't evolved the way he plays.
Nailed it.
Yeah, he
Absolutely
can't
nailed it.
evolve. He's got that way. He came in. We've done well, but you can't stick doing the same things and putting
Can't
new
expect
players.
different results,
No,
can
you
you?
can't.
It's
And
almost like
like,
a glass ceiling, isn't it?
yeah, of course it is, and he has no other way to evolve his game. He's got to his limit. People have worked him out, and it just makes the odd. It's not only. I don't think it's only the results that worried me. It's what's coming out of his mouth in press conferences. But Leicester were bottom of the league they came to us just before the World Cup. It was the last game before the World Cup.
2-0 they won, didn't they?
Yeah, I think after about 8 or 9 games, they had 1 point, if I'm right. And they won a couple of games, and they sort of caught up with us on points, and they was just below us. And he turned around at a press conference and said, "We must be doing something right. We've got the same points as Leicester." And I'm thinking, they was bottom of the league with 1 point after like 10 games. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? Then when we got to the game against Arsenal, he comes out in the press conference in midweek. We just keep on doing what we're doing. It'll come, and it hasn't come. You know what I mean? Like, it's. I think that's the definition of madness.
Yeah.
If you keep on doing the same things and expecting different results, then picking the same players. Got to Arsenal, played 4 at the back. Got a poor defence at the moment. Arsenal are a team that are going to come at you from all angles. We was all expecting it, except for David Moyes. He played 4 at the back. Gets to Brentford in a game that he has to win. Brentford, they're going to play on the counter-attack. You want to get on the front foot. He plays 5 at the back.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Takes all the pace. It takes Kira, although he isn't a good defender. He's got pace. They've got pace up front. Takes him out and puts. You see Cresswell. He got burned.
Cresswell and Dawson.
I don't know. What was he even doing there?
No, I don't know. Running apparently.
He must have wanted him sacked. Must have. Like, you just let him go.
It's just it had to be done. I wasn't shocked, but I was a bit disappointed it didn't come last night, because I think it would have been
more impactful.
Yeah.
Well, do you think they've had a chat this morning and said, look, that was not acceptable, 5 in a row, you've got to go this morning? Or
I think he's lost the dressing room.
Yeah.
The players are not playing for him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Them new players that come in as well. And like when he first came in, we had Halaand, who cost us 50 million quid. We had Henderson, that cost us 45 million quid. And they didn't play the way he wanted to play. Yeah. So he bombed them out of the club. I think we sold Henderson for £2 million back to Lazio.
Yeah.
40 mil loss.
40 million loss, yeah. And he was a good player at the time. Yeah. And Halaand, who's gone, he's done it at Frankfurt, he's done it at Ajax, he was doing it at Dortmund before he got that unfortunate diagnosis that he got. And you look at him, and I was his biggest critic. And people were saying to me, no, he's a good player, he's got to play to his strengths and all that. And I said, yeah, but what we're doing is working. You know, you can't play to one player's strengths if what we're doing is working.
It's getting you the results.
Why change it? Yeah. But now we got the same situation. It took 18 months to pick Scamacca. 18 months he took to pick up a striker. We've had no recognised striker at the club for 18 months since Halaand.
Covering.
And the ball must have been looking at it last night thinking, £50 million on Paqueta, £50 million on Scamacca. The same thing is happening to exactly the same thing to him and Anderson. He's got to change the way he plays now, because what he's doing isn't working. So they must have looked at it this morning and thought, we can't have that situation again. And I think we can't spend that sort of money over and over again and let this guy.
But it's so weird though. Like these are players he wanted, right? So surely he must have had a plan or an intention as to how he's going to integrate into the team. I find it so weird. Why would you buy them and then barely use them, or when you use them,
also,
use them out of
did
position?
you not have like a takeover and new money come in as well?
No.
Was there not Czech ownership or something?
Oh, Kretinsky coming, yeah, but it wasn't. He just bought some of the shares. He's bought like a bit of the club, and it's not really.
But I always assumed after the 2 kind of almost European spot finishes in back-to-back years, this was going to be kind of the year where West Ham kick on, and with Paqueta, with Scamacca, you thought this is going to be them taking that next level. But I think what you said hit the nail on the head, where he's a manager who, when it gets to that bottom half of the table, brilliant. He gets the job done, gets you results, gets players up. But once it gets to that pushing teams to the next level, it's almost like what Stoke tried to do a few years ago, where for 5 years they were regularly safe mid-table. Then once they tried to play more expansive, get a better quality of players, they just couldn't do it, and it slipped up. And you guys want to be careful you don't fall into that kind of category where you slip backwards again. So I think
we are
good decision definitely to get rid.
Because
even if you look at Pellegrini's last kind of run of games was miles better than what it is now, and I think he got done a little bit early. If that makes sense.
We lost 3 home games in a week. The week before the World Cup, we got beat by Crystal Palace at home, Blackburn in the cup, and then Leicester. Now, look, I can forgive an Arsenal result at the Emirates. You know, I can forgive that because they're top of the league. They're top of the league for a reason. But if you're losing against Brentford, Crystal Palace, and Leicester at home consecutively, there's a problem.
Yeah,
big problem. You know,
straight off the bat, is there any names that stick out to you in terms of replacements? They're obviously going to have to move on this quickly.
Yeah.
Would you take Sean Dyche at West Ham? We've done a poll. Apparently you said that.
I did say that. Yeah.
That was serious, right?
It was at the time, yeah, but it will be the same, yeah. You know, I've heard a couple of names bandied about, you know, the likes of Scott Parker, Michael Carrick,
Mark Noble. I've just seen in the comments.
Pochettino,
well. Steven Gerrard,
Pochettino.
I think we've missed the boat with Pochettino and Tuchel.
Seriously?
Yeah,
I think Tuchel maybe would have been big.
The thing is, right, we've had 2 good years, yeah. I think these 2 results now have put us beyond that. I think if you'd have got the end of the, you know, when the World Cup came in, yeah, when the World Cup came along, if he'd have sacked him after that Leicester game and said to Tuchel, look, we'll chuck some money at you, we'll give you £12 million a year, say. You've got 4 weeks to work. You've got 6 weeks now, work with the players. Obviously, you know what Declan can do and everything else. Work with the players. Yeah. Now, it's only 2 games. You're now looking at teams separating away from you, and it's you look at you know, people like Tuchel and that, even for money, they're going, no, that's not really what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like,
but who comes in?
I don't know.
I think
I
that's
really
a good
don't know
argument, though, about making sure that manager's got the time to bed them in. It was pretty dire after those 3 consecutive home losses, so there was a strong argument to say, well, if we've got this window to work in, let's get a new manager.
But he should have been working. If they give him the time, he should have been working on it.
Well, what was he doing during the World Cup?
Fucking watching the World Cup. Watching the Sports stream.
Lovely. Well, there you go. We're just waiting for that news to be triple confirmed. But Nicky has told us early doors on this piece of news that it looks like David Moyes has lost his job at West Ham United. Get us in the comments for your reaction to that. Let's go back to Molineux. Wolves 0, Manchester United 1. It was a close game. A few chances missed by both teams, really. I'm surprised it ended 1-0. But what do you make, Fuad, of Rashford not starting due to internal discipline, and then he comes on at half-time and scores 1, and he has a second one disallowed? What do you make of the decision made by the manager there?
I love it. On both aspects, in my opinion. I love it from Ten Hag, because he's saying whether you're Cristiano Ronaldo, the superstar, or whether you're Rashford, the darling from the academy, I have rules and guidelines, and you will follow them. If not, there's consequences. And for him to drop Rashford, who's been one of his star players, arguably one of their top scorers, if I'm not mistaken,
must be up there,
to drop him in a game that actually means a lot as well. I thought this could have been a potential banana peel for them. The early kickoff, Wolves at Molineux. It shows, for me, Ten Hag is that guy, in all honesty. He's really showing his balls, in my opinion. And I love it, in my opinion. And then I love the reaction from Rashford to say, do you know what, in the second half, I can see the game's lacking pace, the game's lacking a bit of X factor. Second half, that's what you do. You come on and you let the manager know, no. You don't drop me. I'm your main gun, man. And almost got a second as well. So for me, both aspects, I look at it.
I hear that.
Star.
Let me ask you, Tosin, right? What about this? So, we don't know what's happened. He could have been late to training. We don't know. It's an internal discipline. So we're not privy to that information. Whatever. He's made the decision to not. He's not dropped him. He's just said you're not starting. And then at half time you bring him on. Does that not maybe contradict yourself as a manager, because you've not really punished him, have you?
No, but you have by not starting.
Sure, but to bring him on at half time, he scores the winner. You might as well have. Do you know? I mean, it's different because he's come on and done the business, and we're talking about
probably a token punishment.
Yeah, I don't
just
think
to show the squad. You know, don't piss about.
Yeah,
but a token punishment to say you're going to not play for 45 minutes. Is that punishment enough?
Listen, I don't think that club can afford any more of these big fallouts.
No, they can't. They literally can't.
They literally can't.
They can't. They've got no money. And that's why they're looking at loans this window rather than buying players. Right. But, I mean, for him to come on, score the winner, United get 3 more points, it's looking decent for them. Their last 5 results have just popped up, 5 wins now. Rashford getting player of the match, only played for 45 minutes. But are things slowly but surely turning around under Ten Hag? Let's go to Nicky first on this one.
It's positive there. I think what Ten Hag is doing, and I was fearful that he wouldn't be able to do this, and I said that he, you know, last season, I think that with the disciplinary actions he was having with some of his top players, I thought he could have been out of the door because, you know, that's the way it goes. You fall out with too many players, you can't afford to you know, he can't afford to sack them, so you have to sack him. But he seems to have got a grasp of it there. You know, it was a rotten apple, Man United. There was some real bad seeds in there. And I've got to say this, and he's a brilliant player, and I know he's done the interview. Ronaldo was one of them. He was doing people no favours by acting the way he was acting. And they should have never brought him back. It was a mistake to bring him back. He left, you know, he got there when he first come there. He was a young boy. He's gone on to conquer the world, and he's come back. He wanted to be the conquering hero, but he's made it. I think he just bereft the squad of confidence. You know, people were scared of him.
Yeah.
People like Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire was his captain. Do you think Harry Maguire's ever going to go into Cristiano and go, buck your ideas up? No way. No way.
Like me to Marlon Harewood.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think what he's done though, Ten Hag has done enough. I feel like to improve the team tactically so far. You can see that there's imprints of what he did at Ajax. You think he came in as a sought-after manager. They announced him halfway through last season, let's not forget. But then you look at his summer signings as well. Casemiro's done well. Lisandro's done well. So everything that they've asked of him so far, he's delivered. He's set out a strict disciplinary. And I feel like United as a club have needed that cultural reset.
He went and got what they needed. He went and got what they needed. And I tell you, a big player that's to them is Anthony, because he knows him. He knows what he can do.
He knows
he's a quality player.
And the thing is, I don't even think he's hit full.
No.
Firing on all cylinders.
I've not seen much. I'm not really seeing the hype behind Anthony. He must be a good player, obviously, for Man United to pursue.
He will show though.
But he probably will. But
I don't. The question I have is, will he ever be £100 million player?
No,
I think he will be a good player for them in a Ten Hag system as well. I think the fact that Ten Hag knows him plays massively into it. But I definitely think for £100 million, you're expecting.
I think the fact that they paid £80 million for Harry Maguire. Yeah, goes to show you.
But they're ruining it for us now, trying to get Mudryk. By Mudryk.
I love that.
People say, if Anthony's being bought for 8 AMs, then it's a fair point.
Yeah.
But you look at it, for the last decade or so, it's been like bad deals, a bad culture at the club. It's been rotten. As you said, Ronaldo can come in as a former superstar and almost feel like he runs the ship. That's how bad the ship is sinking. And I feel like he's just come in and been the perfect reset. And I feel like United as a board, club, fan base should all just get behind it.
Give him credit where it's due. For me, I think he's been really good for Man United. Even though they took the L's to Brentford, one thing you always want to look for in a manager, you want to see signs of what he's trying to do at the club. And I think that's been evident from the minute he actually had his first press conference to now. It's clear to me what he's trying to do at United. And I think that's what United fans, they should measure the progress and success of him. Because in a way, not to like make it about Arsenal, that's what we sort of did with Arteta. He clashed with a lot of players, clashed with Aubameyang, clashed with Torreira, clashed with
But I feel like if you back them through that early period as a club and a board, that's where you get those later fruits coming down the line. And that's what Arsenal are seeing now, to be fair.
And I love what he's done with Rashford. Like, people, that's Ten Hag. There's a difference. He was under Solskjaer, then he was under Rangnick. Guy like losing confidence, mentally not there. Like, yes, he's worked on himself, but it's not a coincidence that he comes under new management. He's a different player. That's Ten Hag working on him, and I believe he's going to help Sancho do the same thing as well. I think he's been great.
Send him to the mountains.
With that, literally, you know, grasping hold of the egos in the club since Ferguson left, and that was a very special skill that Ferguson had. You know, bombing out Beckham. People were saying, "You crazy?" His ego was getting out of control. Cantona,
Van Nistelrooy,
Jaap Stam. Who else did he bomb out? You know, there's a list of
Haaland.
He bombed out Haaland. But you know, there was a few sort of stars that their ego got out of, and he never wanted to feel like someone was bigger than the club. And you know, he got rid of them. You know, whether it was be quietly, whether it be public. You know. Arguments or whatever.
Even Rooney. When Rooney was getting too big for his boots.
That's the thing, and that's the thing. When their time comes, you know, when you don't think they can do what they can do, there's no room for sentiment.
No,
you know what I mean? You see Cresswell with us last night, right? He's been given another year contract.
For what?
After the semi-final last year.
He's been given
for what?
And you know, you have to be ruthless.
Do you know?
And
he's been a good servant, but for what? He's not been.
No. His contract. He's been with us 8 years.
Just a couple of bits before we get in, because we are approaching the predictions for the 3 o'clock kickoffs very shortly.
No more.
The loser
chili bean
of the prediction spins the chili bean roulette.
It's not even that hot.
Oh, is this even? Are we? Oh, there we go. Dropped them all on the floor.
no more chili bean roulette.
What a sausage. Couple of super chats to get through just before we get to the 3 o'clock kickoff. Diallo saying Eric Ten Hag dealt with it perfectly. He knows he'll need Rashford. Big up to you for the super chat. And West Ham fan Sofian says we cannot afford to go down with the owners looking to sell. We'll get Deitch and stay up by the skin of our teeth. Thank you for sending in a super chat. And big up to everyone who is sending in comments as we are reacting to potential confirmed news that David Moyes has now been sacked. But let's do our predictions. If you all want to message me with them. Have you got your... You haven't got my number, do you?
No, go on, what's your number?
Well, I'm not going to give it out.
07.
You will set you up there, you know.
Wow. Yeah, let me just do it quickly. There you go. Say it as AGT. Bosh. But just to remind you of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, I think this is a massive nostalgic early noughties big game. Newcastle Leeds.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what I was
this
thinking.
Is a
I like the
Viduka.
pictures, yeah.
This is a Shearer classic. If you
Viduka's
actually look
a
back,
throwback.
both of these teams are in the Champions League from 2001, around that era. So I'm looking forward to that game. Matty Renton will be at that one. Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace, Fulham, Southampton, and this is a massive one as well. It's Man City versus Everton. If you can all actually send them to production and not me, so you've just got my number now to have.
Are we doing up to Brighton, yeah?
Up to Brighton. Don't include that one because it's 5:30. We'll be off air by then. But if you want to send them all to production, then they're in a safe place, aren't they? And I'll do mine as well.
Okay.
And whilst we do that, we can have a little look ahead to what other topics we'll be covering throughout the show. So get your juice buds ready for these. We're going to be talking about Ronaldo going to Al Nassr. Has he given up? We're going to be talking about Newcastle. Have they got a chance to not only get top 4, not only get top 3, but maybe go even further? Going to be speaking about our new year, our New Year's resolutions. We're going to have one each personal and then one for our clubs as well. Also going to be talking about Conte, Arsenal, Mudryk. Is he close to signing for Arsenal? We're going to be talking about Todd Boehly as well. And on the back of a Robbie clip speaking about Kevin De Bruyne, we're going to have a world-class debate. What defines world-class?
Oh, not.
And how long do you have to be playing well for
I seem to be here for every single one of these.
No, it's a big debate, and we're going to get into it without question. We've got loads of clips as well from Best of Enemies. I don't know if you guys saw that explosive episode yesterday where one of our production staff speared.
Who was that?
Speared expressions.
You're going to have to watch to find out. We'll play the clip later.
But I didn't see his face.
Oh, I thought that was in there.
I'm not going to ruin the surprise,
It's the blonde
but
one.
it's someone that you wouldn't expect as well, if I'm
My
honest.
God, when I saw who it was, I was like,
It was
Ain't
Kane.
no way.
It was Kane.
I was like, hey, nah, he really channeled his name.
That's why he caned him.
Bill Goldberg.
Mate.
Barricade
Honestly,
spine buster.
spear, wasn't it?
Troops' face was
said,
a sign
damn.
as well, by the way.
Because the thing was, he aimed for Troops, and then Troops had to move out of the way.
Move, yeah. But we've got a lot to get through. As always, keep your comments coming in as we progress. But the 3 o'clock games have kicked off.
Let's go.
Bournemouth Palace, the first one to have the whistle blown, and a lot of Pele tributes are rolling in across all the 3 o'clock kickoffs and across everywhere else. And we are going to keep you up to date with all the other games going on today as well. Big up to Jules Breach on the telly. We were with her in Qatar. Any questions about Qatar as well, get them in if you fancy it. We're having a couple of hours to dissect what's happened in the footballing world across the last week or so as well. Would Sean Dyche be a good West Ham manager? We've done the poll. 550 of you voted. Any guesses to the yes/no split, Nicky?
I bet it's yes.
Bet 60% yes.
60% yes. What are you
I
going
bet it's
for?
about, I'd say 55% yes.
About
close.
53 to 48.
Yeah.
That's
You
off.
reckon?
That
Is
sounds
that
like
because
one.
you've just seen it on the screen?
53 to 57, I'd say.
53 and 47 yes in favour of Sean Dyche going, well, not in favour of him going there. Would he be good for West Ham? And a lot of you think yes. Unbelievable. Jamie in the comments saying Moyes sack, nothing has come through yet. That's because we've got the West Ham ITK sitting next to us, right? Who's getting all of the news before it even breaks.
No way.
Beautiful to see. Man City's team very strong. Grealish, Haaland, Mahrez, De Bruyne, Rodri, Silva, Ake, Akanji, Stones, Lewis, and
him playing him a
Ederson.
lot
Big
more.
fan of Lewis at the minute. He's got
really
that
good.
trust, which I don't think Sergio Gomez has. That pep trust.
Dog as well.
He got that dog in him. He's a local lad. It means a lot to him.
like him.
And he's showing that that quality that you need to show if you're going to be put on the pitch by Pep Guardiola. 0-0 in all the games so far, as you'd expect, only 2 minutes, 3 minutes in. I hope you've all sent your predictions to production. That's a mouthful, that
Jason.
one. Right, shall we talk about Cristiano Ronaldo finally confirming his signing for Al Nassr? As we all know, we were in the Middle East very recently. Al Nassr is a team that's in Saudi Arabia, which is only next to Qatar. It's only down the road, really. I want to get all of your opinions on this because I've got an opinion on it as well. When he did that interview with Piers Morgan and he was talking about, and this was probably only a month ago, he was talking about the fact that he wants to finish on a high, he wants to be at a Champions League team. He was almost selling himself in that interview to be picked up by one of the top teams in Europe, as if, you know, for the 2 or 3 months before that, his agent wasn't speaking to them already. They weren't really getting any yeses on the doors that they knocked on. So for him to now end up at Al Nassr, when his rival for the last 15 years is at the World Cup, has won the World Cup, signed a new deal with Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League, good chance of winning it. What does this mean for you? And I want to ask all of you. We'll start with Nicky. He's now ended up at Al Nassr on 177 million a year. No Champions League football. And you've got Messi, who's ended up winning the World Cup as the captain, is a hero. Is it sad, or how do you feel? Let me not even put the word sad out there for him, but how do you feel, or what does this mean now for his legacy?
I definitely won't be sad for him because I will see his bank balance at the end of it, and you know,
a lot of
that's
numbers
not going to be upsetting. But I think he's made some really bad decisions over the last couple of months. I think with the interview, you know, even though that's you know, what he wanted to say and all that, you know, you shouldn't be airing dirty laundry like that when you're playing at a football club. You shouldn't be, you know. And when you're meant to be the senior top, not just top player at your club, but one of the top players in the world.
Yeah.
I think it sets a bad precedent. And he left them no other choice. He left them no other choice than to say, look, go. That's it. I don't know whether he was angling for that or whatever. But what he did then is, you know, he's flitting his tail a little bit at Arsenal, wasn't he, at one point? Yeah. But I think when you see how it unfolded there with one of the top managers, there's nobody in the world that can handle him the way he is now. You know, he's a little bit frustrated. I think he is a little bit frustrated because Messi is still playing in the Champions League, you know, playing for a top club who can, you know, realistically win that. And now he isn't. Yeah. Now he isn't doing that. He's won the World Cup
anymore.
And all that. And then he started throwing his toys out the pram with Portugal as well at the World Cup. And, you know,
and he got dropped in the knockout stage.
Yeah, got dropped in the knockout stage. And I think he's made some bad decisions. And I think when it come round to it, there may have been people considering him. But I think that towards the end, they just thought he's not worth the trouble. Yeah. He's not worth the trouble. He's going to come with big wages, big reputation. You've got to try and handle him. You've got to try and like skirt around him. And I don't think they left him with any other choice. And I think he's done that to himself.
Yeah, self-inflicted.
I agree with that.
Question for you, Fuad. When you've seen him flouting himself around to different clubs, trying to get that last move, do you think, I mean, let's say he was on $500,000 at United a week, right? Could he have not said, all right, for 18 months, I'm going to see out my career at a Champions League club, pay me 150 a week and I'll do it? Could he not have done that?
No. Because I think reality has hit Ronaldo, and I think Ronaldo's biggest stumbling block has always been his ego. Facts. But it's also what has allowed him to get to where he is now. So you chalice, really, absolutely. So it's one of those. It's the classic line of live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I think when he was linked back to United, I think he should have gone to City, in my opinion. If you were talking about wanting to cement your legacy, go and give City that final push, burn your bridge. Exactly. So you fell for the heartstrings pull. And in my opinion, that immediately there was the wrong decision. If anything, you should have signed a 1-year contract. Came, done your work last year, leave in the summer, doors open for you. It was a 2-year contract. And I think in the summer, you started to see it sort of turn a bit sour, where he wanted to leave, wasn't clicking with the new manager wasn't sure what he was getting. But I think in the last 6 months, his arrogance and ego has been displayed for the world to see. And it's bit him. A lot of the stuff he said in the interview, I think a lot of fans even agreed with, talking about the facilities, staff, training ground, things that haven't changed for decades. And he's right in those aspects, but it's like, you're not delivering the goods right now. You're actually one of the reasons why this club is kind of a little bit in the mud. But if I really and truly look at his situation now, I think you would only say it's sad if you're comparing him to Messi. In my opinion, I'm looking at him, I'm like, he's 37, 38. He's achieved everything he's achieved in the game. He's left cool in a kind of bitter manner because you've been dumped out of the World Cup and dropped by your country, released by the club that you supposedly love. But now I'm like, listen, you're going to go and earn unlimited money, go Saudi Arabia. Basically, I feel like he's almost doing what Beckham did for the MLS in 2006 for the Middle East, because they've just had a World Cup now. I imagine the profile of football in that area is getting bigger. And as Ronaldo goes now, I think their Instagram following has gone from like 800K to 2.5 mil already.
4 million now.
Wow.
It just goes to show you the impact. So I imagine during the time he's there, maybe not your casual Premier League fan, but there will definitely be more eyes on football in the Middle East. And if he can earn money from that, he's left another bit of legacy where he can say, I planted my flag there. So it's, for me, the stories of Ronaldo's not over yet, but it's definitely not what his ego imagined it would be.
He may think that he's, with the Qatar World Cup, all eyes on the Middle East, he may think, yeah, that's the next step. I'm going to go over there and continue.
But we know deep down that's not what he wants.
This is the key bit, I think. It's him himself, and I think everybody, when he did that interview. It's almost like, you lie to yourself and delusional enough.
It's like when someone is applying to go to university and their top 3 choices didn't come. And they get somewhere through clearing. They're like, I'm going to this great university. No, Al Nassar is clearing.
Fourth choice.
Yeah, when you get to
that's clearing.
It's
that's
fantastic.
Clearing, no way.
That is one of the best analogies I've heard across the whole.
No, that's facts. That's facts.
He got a club through clearing.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Like, it's sad.
If you know about uni, you know about clearing.
How much did you say? 100 and what million?
177 a year.
Is that?
He's getting free.
Hold on, not the whole contract.
He's getting
per year.
3.8 million per week.
Yeah.
8 million.
3.8 million a week. Euros, that is.
Not
Still,
a bad
that's a
PayPal.
lot.
Yo.
Money, man.
I think there's a fine line
probably
between,
for him. And they'll probably get him involved in the 2030 bid, I imagine.
This is another clause of the contract. I think they have some time of his to promote the World Cup bid, right? So they're going to plaster his face all over that. Very similar to what Beckham did in Qatar recently.
All I'm saying is if that's the price for Ronaldo, the price Messi can have in about 2-3 years, or whenever he decides to leave PSG, because he might be extending for another year apparently.
Yeah, he might be. I mean, there was talks about Inter Miami with Messi, but one question
need to
for you
give him
before
the
we
club.
move on. On here it says, has he given up? Now, that's one question. The question I wanted to ask was, if he did say, right, I know I'm 500, I still want a 500 league, I still want to play in the Premier League or in Europe at a Premier League or a Champions League club. He could have gone to Sporting. He could have really reduced his wage. But then if he does reduce his wage to get that move, to see out his at the final top level of his career, and he takes that cut, the club are going to be earning maybe 10 times that amount via shirt sales and via merchandise, via commercial opportunities. So he would also be shooting himself in the foot a little bit if he took that cut, because he knows, and the people around him will be saying, don't do that, because look how much we've predicted all the money they're going to earn off you. Ask for more. But then it's a poison chalice, because you can't get the top club and the wages, so he's had to settle for this. Do you think in a way this is him giving up?
I don't think he's given up. I think,
or has no one offered him an opportunity?
Yeah, I just think he's just bereft of options, ideas. He's desperate, basically, and it's sad, to be honest. But I love what you guys have pretty much hit. I love what Fuad said. It's like, it's sad if you compare him to Messi, but if you're actually looking at it objectively, it's like the way you're closing out your career, making the most money you've ever made in your life.
Fair play.
And you're going to put pretty much a whole continent on the map, footballing wise. But it's just sad. Not my GOAT. My GOAT could never do that. My greatest of all time could never be this arrogant diva that makes himself bigger than the club. My GOAT could never do that. That's why, for me, Ronaldo, great player, one of the best ever, but he's not going to go down as the greatest football player of all time.
A confusing thing about him as well, Al, is that I think that at times in his career, he's shown himself to be caring, considerate, with fans and things. He was very good with
Tell that to the Everton fan whose iPhone he smashed up.
Yeah, no, we don't know. But earlier on in his career, when he was at the peak of his Ballon d'Ors and that, he was very.
He always had
kind
time
and
for
considerate.
charitable
And even when he got
things
back
as
to
well,
Manchester United, he apparently was more into the teaching the kids how to do this, how to do that. So to act the way he's acting, I don't know whether it's frustration with himself.
I think it's
He's left himself with no options.
Yeah,
that's the key thing.
I think
this isn't how the film plays out in his head, though.
No. I think he's come back to United, and I think one, he was expecting the club to be different. I think, as you're saying, where he's passing down Ronaldo John to the likes of Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, they were probably, this generation is a different mindset. It's like, you're not that guy, old man. Do you know what I mean? You're not that guy you used to be back in the day. So they maybe weren't taking it on board, and I felt like he just almost felt like, you guys aren't respecting my greatness. And as I said, his ego and arrogance, I think, has just been
lots
his
of pride.
biggest.
The
pride has just cost him. And as
pride
you say,
through the roof.
Chelsea, Bayern Munich, in the summer, those teams were visibly distancing themselves because they know when you bring Ronaldo, it's not just a player and shirt sales you're getting; it's a whole circus that comes with it.
But he is obsessed with himself.
He is.
But
I can see that. I think you have to be. His looks.
Narcissistic.
I think you have to be to get yourself to a level because he isn't as naturally talented as Messi. But he works hard.
Facts.
He's a hard worker.
Facts.
I respect
the nail on the head.
I respect him for that. But at the same time, it's just, bro, like, you're just super prideful, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I think in the end, when you're like that, when your talent begins to wane and you start to get older, you make yourself look stupid because, when you're at the top of your game, he could have done that to anybody and anybody would have taken him. At 37, on big money, acting like that, nah. Yeah,
I respected him when he left Real Madrid and he went to Juve. I'm like, okay, whoa, that's a ballsy move.
Big challenge.
You're going there, you want to put Juve on the map, you want to help them win the Champions League. He realized he couldn't do that. You should never make permanent decisions based on emotions. He should have not gone to Man United if he followed his heart instead of following his head.
If he saw out the Juve contract and did this move, I think people would have said nothing. But it's the fact that you tried to do the hop
just
jump
City.
into
It was the one last roll of the dice.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Played yourself going United.
I would have loved to have seen him go to PSG and them two play together for the last bit of the career.
You know what? That would have been one for
Money-wise,
the... I would have loved to seen that. Maybe not at PSG, but at like a Inter Miami or something like that.
Yeah, I think actually, if them two play together,
PSG got too many issues already.
Implode.
Yeah,
they got too many issues there already.
And do you know what the problem? There'd be too much pressure for them to deliver the Champions League, the 2 goals. It's like if they're doing that Inter Miami or Al Nassr, we can just listen. We can just enjoy it, man. Look at them Dubs and Al Abdi and them, man.
Well, let us know what you think in the comments. Arctic Temper here saying, easy to look good when you're on top, but your true character shows when you're in rough times.
Exactly.
That's a very true fact.
The only thing I will say, though, is I hope there's not revisionism done on Ronaldo now to make him look like he's some scrub.
Yeah,
or he was never to Messi's level. I feel like over the last couple of weeks there's been a big change in narrative. I know. But it's just, I just hope that doesn't become the conversation, in my opinion. We still have to appreciate. I think what you said there, for maybe his ability wise, he wasn't there, but I feel like he's the player who has milked the most when it comes to work rate out of their ability. When you see the player he was when he came to United, noodlehead spaghetti winger with no end product, to what he is now,
that's pure hard work,
graft, dedication,
and he put himself on Messi's level. But unfortunately, when it's all, you look at him, he looks like he's carved out of stone.
Greek.
He doesn't eat this, he doesn't eat that, he doesn't drink that. There's no fun in it. It's all competition with him, all competition. And he put himself in competition with Messi, and that's brave to do it with a player as talented as Lionel Messi.
That's God-gifted.
But when it gets to this point of your career, talent will always overcome because his body won't allow him to do and train the way.
No matter how good the body looks.
No. And that's what talent will always look better.
Because the thing is, they say obviously when talent doesn't work hard, but the thing is, Messi works crazy hard. That's the thing.
I get it. He did work hard, but people act like Messi is not working.
Bro, he's working as well.
Yeah,
he's working. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, free kicks. He had
his evolution
over Messi.
No. I was just saying for the Ronaldo revisionism.
Tweets, man.
Listen, hey.
did.
Listen, World Cup's World Cup.
wouldn't even
When you
repeat.
knock my country out of the World Cup, brother, I'm coming for your neck.
Big up.
Listen.
Right, well, I'm sure that debate will roll on throughout the years and decades.
No,
right?
I think it's done. I don't think it
What,
will roll on
Ronaldo,
now.
Messi?
Well, just
No,
just
no,
talking
that's
about
signed,
Ronaldo in
sealed,
general, I
shut.
don't think. I agree, but just Ronaldo, that name will always bring up debates, and obviously,
It's true.
rest
It'll-
in peace,
it'll go down
Pele,
in history,
that
isn't it?
that will now
Yeah,
fire it
yeah.
up all over again, right? But let's get back into the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Almost 20 minutes in now, still no goals.
Rubbish.
So they allowed
Yeah.
us to have that full-blown Ronaldo debate without any goals. But we are watching here in the studio Newcastle versus Leeds, and on Newcastle. About 15 minutes in now, it's been fairly even from what we can see. But let's talk about Newcastle. They deserve to have their own segment in the show.
They do.
Have they got a chance at the title? Now, let me just back this up before I go into it. In terms of the calendar year of 2022, they're in the top 4. From what we've seen of them this season, they haven't just carried on that form. They've bettered it from the first 6 months to the second 6 months of the calendar year. Every game that they go into, there's been a goal for Crystal Palace
Jordan
away at
Ayew.
Bournemouth. Jordan Ayew, massive goal that for Crystal Palace and Paddy Vieira as they tried to turn the season around. And they're
He won't
1-0
score
up. They're
again for
looking
another
good.
15 games.
They're looking good for sure. But
Do you know he's dead? Do you know whose dad is?
Jordan
Abedi
Ayew.
Pele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Abedi
Pele.
Abedi Pele.
Yeah. Scored
The Ghanaian football
Legend.
legend.
He's like the
used to play for Leeds.
top
Jordan
player.
Ayew.
Jordan Ayew's dad
Jordan
is
Ayew and
Adini
Andre
Pele.
Ayew. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Andre, yeah. Good football family, that. I'm sure we've had that debate, haven't we, about football families on this show
We had
before?
that. Yeah, I remember.
Let's not get into that one again. But let's, before we get into this Newcastle debate, because I've got a couple of questions for you. The first one was a mad one. We've actually got a clip from Talking Tactics on Newcastle. I believe it was with Matisse and James. A great show, by the way. If you haven't watched Talking Tactics on DR Sports, it's every Monday, and they look at some specifics from the weekday and weekend just gone. So let's get into this Newcastle one before we really deep dive into their credentials for this season.
So I've got to ask, top 4 race, title race, which one is it for you?
Top 4 for me. I won't say title, purely because if these names win a title, not even Joe Linton, if some of these names in this team win a title...
I feel like we're being so rude.
We're so rude, but it's so true. It's what everybody's thinking and nobody wants to say. Let's be real about
I don't
this.
mean to be, I'm using it to credit how. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
we
trying
are
to say.
crediting, but if they win a title over Manchester City, which is their competition, and Arsenal as well, but especially Manchester City, who are the favourites still for me, with Haaland, with De Bruyne, with Bernardo Silva, with Gundogan, if these guys win it, it will be similar to what Leicester did, in my opinion. I think you put what Newcastle were doing, if they were to win the league, you put that alongside Leicester. No one should be sitting there saying, this is all part of the plan, this is what we expect. I expected this team to be knocking on the door for Conference League. Knocking on the door.
But I agree.
Oof. Very, very heated debate that in Talking Tactics. Top 4 or title race, what is it for you, Nicky, as we watch them try and score here against Leeds?
Now, top 4. But I said that about Leicester. They went on to win it.
That's a good point. It's a very strong point.
Yeah.
Fuad?
Top 4. And you say that about Leicester, but I saw Leicester the last 2 years comfortably sitting in third for the majority of the season and then crumble away in the last kind of 6 games. And a couple of them times they didn't have European football as well. So for me, I think top 4, the title I think is too far away. I think I look at Arsenal and City, they're still a cut above unless they do some serious moves in January. In which, I don't know, Isak coming back as well could be a big one in the second half of the season. But yeah, I think I've got them for top 4 at the moment.
Top 4 for you. I'm going to go with top 4 as well, considering there's no Europe, considering that they will spend in January as well. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm going to go top 4. I think it depend on who they buy in January. Could be title race. No Europe. Eddie House having enough time.
What type of signings do you think they need to make in January if they were to go on that extra step?
I think they probably need better. Like they need someone to complement Trippier on the left. I think their centre back is it Botman. He's good.
Botman and Shaw have been very good.
He's
man.
good.
Shah's been excellent.
I'd say as well, Almiron is on good form as well. If they could find another wing, I know they're linked with Mudryk, but I highly
James Maddison
be
could
wrong.
go there in January.
Yeah, that could be great.
Yeah.
Maddison in front of Guimaraes, that's Rap City. It's game over.
City.
So like it depends on, but like I say top 4, but I can see why people are saying title race. Like, the fact of the matter is, Eddie Howe is a good manager.
Yeah.
And he's getting maximum time to work with these players week in, week out.
I think it was a bit
Confident team. It's clearly not a purple patch.
No.
Like, they're here to
Well, we
stay.
thought it was,
I think
but it's been
a bit
like this for the whole year.
Yeah.
For Matisse to turn around and say, like, you know, these players can't win this in front of them. Why?
Yeah.
Why not?
People
You know what I mean?
probably
Like, they're
saying that about
players.
Wes Morgan.
He's looking at household names, and there aren't many of them in that Newcastle squad. I understand his point, but I agree with you.
I know what he's saying. I know what
Robert
he's saying.
Huth has won one
and
with
I love
Leicester.
Matisse. I'm not going to dig
Robert
Matisse out. No,
Huth.
there's no way on earth, because I love Matisse to bits. But I think that's a little bit. I think that's what they call a top club mentality. Elitist mentality, yeah.
Looking down.
Looking down, you know.
Turning your
How can
nose
he
up,
win how can he
if
win
anything.
a title before Kai Havertz? And,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How can Joe Willock win a title before Kai Havertz or you know, Dan Burn win a title? If they work hard. And I think the best thing Newcastle can do is just carry on doing what they're doing. Don't worry about the title, because that's what Leicester done. Leicester got
keep
into
winning.
game by game. They got into a run of form. They just kept on going and going and going. They didn't worry about the title, because that's when the pressure starts. There's no pressure on them, and there's no pressure on Newcastle. There's going to be pressure on Arsenal. There's going to be pressure on Manchester City. But if they just keep on doing what they're doing, just concentrate on what you're doing, and see where you are after 30 games, you know, they didn't even talk about the title in Leicester until I think they needed one win to win it. You know,
They're in it.
They're in it, and they're in very good form, and the momentum is certainly with Newcastle. Every game they play. I mean, I actually can't remember the last time Newcastle had a bad game or performed badly.
No.
And over the years, great chance, and it's just wide from Shah, I believe, header. Or maybe it's a save for a corner from Melier. But that momentum that they've got, and let's not forget, the only game they've lost this season was to Liverpool at Anfield, with
Last
the last
minute.
kick of the game. So they could have even got a point out of that one, which meant they would have been unbeaten at this
that's
stage.
a good chance. That one he missed.
Tuesday will be a very big game. Arsenal-Newcastle.
Yeah.
We'll see what they're made of.
Yeah, I'm sure. Let's have a look at that. Oh, it's just wide. Zipped off the surface, and it will be another. Oh no, it wasn't a corner from Shah's header. The rain is absolutely bucketing down, as you'd expect, to be fair, at Newcastle up north.
And they'll love that.
And that, to be fair, it's exactly the same here as well. It's absolutely torrential rain here in London as well. AGT asking Nicky if he would take Sean Dyche. Yes, I have done. Big up to you, Assassin number 6. Eddie Howe has always been a quality manager, but he's known to fall off with teams. Remember when Bournemouth were 5th once? I think that's a little bit unfair
Yeah.
to say that. They were massively overachieving if they were 5th. But let us know in the comments. We might even put a poll up. Where do Newcastle finish in May? Is it in the top 4? Do they get European football? That could be obviously Champions League, UEFA, or Europa, I should say. That was me showing my age a little bit. Or Conference League as well. I think they'll definitely get at least one of those. And then it's just about building and trying to get even more.
January for them is big.
Massive.
Because they've got, I think someone told me the other day, I said it was $1 billion, but it's not quite $1 billion. I think it's about 650 million pounds they can spend before they
FFP.
Yeah, FFP, yeah, because of the way Ashley spent over the years. So they're not
Can
going
you
to spend.
backdate FFP then? Can you say that we haven't spent any dough?
Yeah.
So you can just...
5 years, I think it is.
Probably the best thing he's ever done for them, to be quite honest with you. But, you know, they can spend sort of 650 million pounds as it stands now, if they wanted. I don't think they will. And I think too many sort of, if they try and go for too many big names, I think it might upset the apple cart.
Goal! Just to cut you off there, Nicky, it's a goal, and would you know it? It's Erling Haaland again. 29th goal of the season now for Manchester City in all comps, and he puts
for the season.
City 1 up against Everton.
Absolutely mad.
21 league goals. This guy's just fake.
Unbelievable. He's actually only 13 away now from Mo Salah's record of 34 goals in one season.
He'll break that.
We said he smashed
He will break that.
Without an injury, he'll break it.
He will break that. And Erling Haaland, on the 24th minute, halfway through the first half, has scored for City, assisted by Riyad Mahrez.
To be fair, the way Everton have been playing, he could break that today.
Yeah.
Could well do.
He can't score a hat-trick today.
But to be fair, for Everton to last 24 minutes without conceding is a bit of an achievement. But no, he's broken his duck again. And another goal. Don't be fooled by Bruno Fernandes. He is a Portuguese Jordan Henderson, says 2000 no look Diaz.
That's
with the
harsh.
super chat. And I had to read that out because it was a super chat.
That's
That
harsh.
is massively harsh. Have some respect. Jordan Henderson has won a lot more trophies than Bruno has. Right? And he's captained them as well. To Premier League, Champions League, League Cup, FA Cup, World Club Cup. Don't you dare, ever try and compare Jordan Henderson, the mighty Brian Henderson, I should
World
say.
Cup games
to
has Jordan
Bruno
Henderson bossed?
Fernandes.
How many World Cup games has Jordan Henderson bossed? For someone with all those accolades and titles.
Say again?
How many World Cup games has Jordan Henderson bossed?
Bossed the one against where he scored the other week for England against Senegal. Bossed that game. Nicky will back me up on
Yeah,
that.
he did boss that game.
Thank
I'll
you.
give him that.
If you're going to come with
about
one,
that.
make
I
sure
don't know
I
about
won't be able to give you
I
an
don't
answer.
know about that. I don't
got
know
you
about
there.
You there.
Senegal?
You tried it.
Senegal?
Must be a
This
World Cup
Hey,
game.
man, listen.
I gave you a World
there.
I
Cup
saw
game.
Bruno decapitating heads at the World Cup, so
No,
please,
no,
man,
no.
come on.
What
Come
about
on,
club
man.
level?
Come on,
Let's have a
man.
chat.
Please.
Come outside.
But so is Henderson.
Big up to Andrew Tate in the comments, sending in a
What?
super chat.
Andrew Tate.
He says, I
Top
want to
G.
take Toby to Turkey to sort out that hairline love from the top G. Probably from inside the sales, if I'm honest. If you believe what you read about Andrew Tate. And it's also Tosin, so have some respect.
Yeah, mate, if he wants to pay, I'll
Go for
come. I can send you my bank account, man.
Yeah, top G. Another super chat from HJW. Conte, if he goes, does Kane and Son leave as well? We might as well ask the Tottenham fan in the studio that one.
Yeah, I've said so. I've said Kane is pretty much waiting to see what Conte's decision is before because his contract only goes on a year on after Conte's one expires in the summer.
Do you want him going like that, though?
Who? Conte?
That's so Conte, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's so Conte.
But absolutely, this man left the title-winning Serie A side for not backing him in his ambitions after he won a title. He said, you know what, I'm going to be humble enough to take a step down. I saw you lot fumbled around with Jose, but I'll come in and do a proper job for you lot, provided you back my vision.
Yeah.
And you remember as well, he rejected us in the summer because we didn't back his vision, which is why we went back for him and said, here's 20 mil, we'll give you everything you want. And then now we've had 3 windows where basically now we're going into the third one where he's saying, I'm not sure this club understood the vision, but I guess this is the contract I signed. So, in my opinion, I can see him walking away. And you look at what he's been kind of given, I think he needs more. This is a squad that's needed an overhaul for about 4 or 5 seasons that's been stagnating. We've still got guys like Ben Davis, Eric Dyer, Matt Doherty, Sanchez regularly starting in this team, Sessegnon regularly starting in this team. And every time a new manager comes in, Enoch just go, oh, don't worry, these guys, we'll give them new contracts and you can work them through and coach them better because you're a better coach than the last one. It doesn't work like this. You need to improve the quality, and to do that, you must spend. You see what Chelsea are doing. You see what Arsenal are doing. You see Arsenal the last 2 seasons are the highest spenders, and now all of a sudden look where they are. You look at Liverpool, when they pulled their finger out and finally started spending, what do? Caught the gap up to Man City. No matter what you do in football, you have to spend money. And you look at Spurs, over the last 20 years this board has been in charge. It's been abysmal. When money has been spent, it's been spent waywardly. Signings like Lo Celso, like Bergwijn, like Ndombele.
Soldado.
Awfully. Soldado, Lamela. There's so many bad Spurs signings you can go through. For once you have a director of football who you brought in because he understands Conte and knows Conte. So utilize it. You've said in the summer you're giving him 150 million. Where's it gone? We saw 60 million on Richarlison. Where did the rest go? And now all of a sudden we're being told we've only got 30 million plus player sales. We know damn well we don't sell players. So for me, it's if Conte goes, where do Spurs go from here is my question to Spurs fans, because I have no clue. I thought this was the last roll of the dice to really sit at the big boys table. And at the moment, we've just been trying for about 7 years, and achieved nothing and won nothing in that time. So for me, it's you've just basically been pretenders for 7 years, and now Newcastle are loading up. You think it's still going to be a top 6? Right? They're not extending it to top 7.
Who's he not been backed with?
Who?
Conte, fair enough, but what player have you gone for that he's not been backed with?
So for me, in the summer, a right wing back, a starting one.
You got Spence?
No, don't do that, because I sat here on DR Sports and I said Jed Spence is a prospect. I said, you know what that is? That's Sessegnon. That's a 3-year project. I said, he's coming up from the Championship, where he's on loan to another team. No, but
who told you to buy him?
The club signed him for Conte. The day that kid got announced, Conte said, I have nothing to do with this kid. I don't know who he is. What Conte wanted was a Perisic style. Where he signed him, get me that type of profile on the right side. And that's what I felt like we needed. Centre-backs, we went from going from Bastoni to Gvardiol to, hey, you know what, we'll get you Lenglet on loan. Come on, man. You want to close the gap with this?
Clearing.
Skriniar, and we ended up with Rodon.
Back to clearing.
Back to clearing.
So this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. So when you tell me, and then you look at you think, oh, some money's been spent on Richarlison though. Was Richarlison a necessity? Because that front line is arguably the best part of our team. You've got Kulusevski, Son and Kane. Yeah, you could say he can come in, but 10 games, no goals. So has that investment been good investment so far? No. At the World Cup he banged, and that kind of tricked everyone a little bit. But for Spurs, he's not been good.
I told you about him, though.
And I said this in the summer, over here as well. I said we way overspent.
£60 million on someone that doesn't score goals. I didn't. He's a good player.
That's hard.
But he's not 60 million.
He doesn't score goals.
So for me, it's like when you say, how has Conte not been back? That's what I see. I look at it in the summer and I'm like, I don't think number one targets were signed. And I looked at right wing back, centre back, and creative midfield. You look at our midfield here, we've got Bentancur, Skip, Højbjerg, and Basuma. 4 battle warriors. You want to go to war, you get them man out. You want a midfield that creates, keeps possession, dictates tempo, gets on the front foot, dominates team. You need a different profile.
So do you link that with the notoriously slow starts this season, the quality of the squad? Or the
100%.
So you don't think that's anything to do with the manager?
I think there's, of course, it's got to do with manager as well, but I think it's the tools he's given. And it's the same thing we've had under every manager, with Nuno, with Jose. True. And I'm like, how many times are we going to keep saying it's the manager, it's the manager? You have to look at the system and say the board need to actually back these men. Yeah. You brought in Jose because you didn't want to back Pochettino.
In the Premier League,
you didn't back him, and now you brought in Conte. You didn't back him. It's like, at some point, you deserve the failures.
That's actually at some point.
We're going to come back to this one. A lot of super chats asking more Spurs questions. But in the meantime, Andreas Pereira scores a goal for Fulham to take them 1-0 up at home to Southampton. Again, a player that maybe should have done a little bit more at his time at Manchester United, but found his level, really, found his team at Fulham, and they're 1-0 up at home to Southampton. Big goal. Right, let's go back to Spurs. Couple of super chats to get through. HJW, Spurs sporting director, might be behind bars soon.
It's true.
Sheets of Metal says, did you see X get tackled on the show last night? This is, of course, the Best of Enemy show with Troops and Expressions. And if you want to see a clip of that, we've only got it for you now. Have a watch.
Where's that brother, blood? See, blood. Give me that. This is the brother that I was talking about, and I said I would prank him. Oh! Robbie's got me, blood! Robbie's got me, blood! Oh, shit! Oh! Got me, blood! Oh, shit! Oh! Oh, my God! Hey, Robbie! That is it, blood. I had to move. He put his hands on me. Robbie, how'd you let him do that to me? I got 250,000 witnesses of assault. I'm taking that brother for his North Face jacket. You get me now? I'm taking him for everything. The fake dye in his hair. I'm taking him for everything.
Oh my goodness, that is one of the best clips to ever come out of DR Sports.
You know the best part about it? It's the fact that he instigated it. Yeah, exactly. Got him in the headlock, and then it was like WWE, you know, move gets reversed. By God, King!
Oh, do you know what? You know the biggest thing that disappoints me in there, though, right? You, me, we put in a lot of work during that World Cup, yeah? Them two did nothing.
Yeah.
Got Christmas presents. We didn't get nothing.
Hey,
that's
the
a good
game
shout,
is the game, man.
Do you know
the
what?
game is the game.
This bit up and send it to Robbie. Great shout. Great shout, Nicky. Presents soon come. Well, it's my birthday soon, Robbie, so just add it onto that.
Get that Tesla.
Yeah, 100%. That is an unbelievable clip. Big up to Kane. 2-0 Crystal Palace, and it's Eze who doubles the lead at Dean Court, I believe it's called, at Bournemouth. Palace 2-0 up. They've doubled their lead there. That's brilliant. Real Sociedad also 1-0 up at home to Osasuna, another former club of David Moyes. Will he go back to Spain? Uno, dos. Thames. That was unbelievable, his Spanish
Ridiculous.
press conference, wasn't it? I've watched Sociedad uno, dos time. Like, come on, bro. Sort yourself out.
Hey, nothing will ever top
was the
McLaren in
Who
Holland.
was it who done the Dutch accent?
Steve McLaren. Steve McLaren in Holland.
The guy is FC20.
Awful.
My name
No,
is
those
Steve
will
What was he
McLaren.
thinking?
Joey Barton with the old the French one, yeah. I'm sure there's been more as well.
I don't mean to be rude, but Joe Barton could barely
Oh,
speak English.
there was Jadon Sancho when he was in Dortmund as well, and he started
German one.
talking like he didn't know English.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're talking to a foreigner and he's like,
It's just weird.
you know, I was like, why are you
Super
talking
weird.
like
Why are
this?
they talking
I
like
wonder if
this?
it's a natural thing, like.
I don't know. I think it's just when you
Are they
get in the
having a joke or
environment.
what?
I think it's.
Must be peer
I think
pressure.
it is natural, you know, because you're trying to appease someone who's asking you questions in your language, but that's not their language.
Yeah, yeah.
And the naiveness in your head goes, right, let me slow it down, maybe chuck in a bit of his accent so he understands me a bit more. I don't know.
It's like the
No,
classic.
you're right. Because it's like that's what they say you should do when you speak to people with from different countries. It's called, they say, mirroring.
Yeah.
So it makes the other person feel like welcome. Like if you're speaking to like, I'm not trying to be
Or
like,
insulted.
racist or stereotypical, but let's say you speak to a Chinese person, you got to slow down. Like, so
But their English
go
is
to
probably
the door
better than
and
ours.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're
yeah.
looking at us
It's the
like,
same.
you don't
It's
need
the
to talk to me
same.
like
Even
I'm a child, you know.
If you see most people
But it
when they
helps,
go
though.
to when
The
they go
mirroring, it
to
helps.
America, they always come back with the y'all, or because they've probably gone there and adapted to their way of kind of talking a little
Don't
bit.
get me started
I can't
about
adapt to
America.
that.
Nah, same. I'm the same. I'm like just
Did you
London
guys see
the
the
whole way
American
through.
fans I was talking to in Qatar?
Yeah.
I believe that we will win. I believe
that
that
we will, yeah.
Their
Shut
chants,
up.
I can't lie to you.
Mental,
Their
aren't
chants are the worst.
Do you know what? I played
The
football with
worst.
an American guy yesterday, and ate aside. Me and Doyle did. We were having a pint after. Big up to all the Americans, by the way. So I don't want to start a hate campaign. But we hated even playing against an American yesterday.
Yeah.
Pass it, hit me on the. Come on, damn it!
Yeah,
Like,
they get really-
get
they
your
do
Ted
get
Lasso
so-
ass out of here.
But one thing you give Americans, they're just confident. You know, it may come
But
across
Americans
prideful,
in
arrogant,
soccer,
but they're
man, it just
confident.
doesn't-
That's something you don't really get in Europe. Not many men are confident. American people are confident.
I rate that, but it's the whole them trying to impose the football
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's just
Soccer.
too much for me.
Yeah.
You know, the guy was like,
Don't force
"It's
it."
called soccer." Unbelievable. Here's another super chat. Here's one for you from Pro F2D. Tosin, is it true you used to punch up Toby when you were kids? Who won those fights?
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good question.
It's a very good question.
I'd say I shaded it 60-40.
Yeah.
He won't say that.
He's going to say the
Hold
same thing.
Do you know what?
I'm going to say 60-40. I'm going to say 60-40.
He'll say 60.
Do you know what? This makes
It's around
sense.
50-50,
Because if Toby was losing the fight, this is explain why he got in the gym and is now like the gym now. Because he was losing the fight, so he's like, you know, I'm gonna get mine back.
The thing is, we both got in the gym.
Yeah.
And like I used to be the same size as my brother, but now I believe in being lean.
Yeah.
I'm not about this.
Me too.
He is a
No neck.
unit, mate.
I'm not about this no neck lifestyle. So
Get lean in 15. Shout out Joe Wicks.
Mate, that is funny, man.
Other cooking and fitness chefs are available. Jan Mulby Scouse accent. That was a good one from David McNulty in the comments.
What?
Jan Mulby's Scouse accent.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause he's
yeah,
Danish.
Yeah, he's Danish,
And he literally has a Scouse
Sometimes
accent.
I forget he was Danish.
Yeah.
Ollie's Manchester accent. Ollie Solskjaer.
Yeah, it's mad,
man
you know.
kept
It is a
I
little
want to
bit
hear
ish,
Klopp
yeah.
coming out with a few Scouse little phrases here and there, just to keep him.
Yes,
happy.
la.
Just like the firm, lads. Bell to goal there. Right, speaking of the gym and confidence, going into the new year, obviously it's a time for resolutions. Do people stick to them? That is the big question. Let's go around the table. If you don't want to do your own personal one, you want to keep it to yourself, then do that. But let's have one each for all of your clubs as well. So, club or personal. Nicky, what's your New Year's
I've got a couple of
resolution?
personal ones.
Go on.
Yeah, we're trying to up the quality on our YouTube channel, which I think is long overdue. So we're sort of doing all that sort of thing. But I'm going to cut.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm going to cut a lot of weight. I'm going to get into the gym and start cutting now. I lost a lot of weight last year during lockdown. I lost 10 stone.
wow.
Yeah, and but it come to a crescendo, sort of like I stopped doing them sort of things.
Plateau.
And now I think plateau. That's the one. And now I think I'm ready to go in and start cutting.
A bit of next level.
No, he's trust me.
Hey, I can't lie. That's the size of that, you know. Some good.
Yeah, I know you might think this is weird, but I'm naturally.
You're a big
muscular,
lad.
You know what I
Big
mean?
lad.
Yeah. So I went and bought some kettlebells yesterday. And
so you're fully.
Nah,
I'm cutting. Yeah, I'm cutting.
All right.
You're going to calorie count.
Yeah, I'm going to do everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it properly.
Any club
Love to
ones?
see it.
Any club resolutions or ambitions?
Clubs.
Well, new manager
Start
starting
winning.
from today.
Yeah.
That'll help. Is that it? Just start winning.
Yeah, just.
But is there no actual goals that you want to set in terms of top 10 finish?
I'm 40. We've
No.
never won nothing.
Okay.
I've got no- just leave it like that.
That's he knows. Been around the block.
All right. Fair play. Thank you for that, Nicky.
If I had to go personal, I'd probably say gym as well, to be fair. I think this year I've completely fell off.
It's such a cliche though, isn't it?
No, but it is. But this year, no, I think I can count with both my hands the amount of times I've actually gone. And it's like, I pay an absorbent amount for like a good gym. And
What gym do you go?
it's called Anytime Fitness near my house. Got super equipment. And I'm like, every month I don't go, basically. I'm like, that's your penalty for not going, if that makes sense. Like, you got to pay it. I was like, it is what it
How
is.
near
but-
is it to the house?
Mate, 5 minutes. There's no excuse.
that a
I've
walk?
been using like working, walk. I've been using working content and everything as an excuse, but obviously now I'm full-time content, so it's like I've got the time. So there's no excuse. So my
Work
plan
it
this
in.
year is definitely get
Work
back
it
in
in,
there, bruv. I miss the arrogance I had.
Chest.
I'm a little bit more humble these days.
And the club?
Club, just sign some damn defenders. That's all I hope for, man. Whether it's a right back, a centre back, just 2, please. That's all I ask for. And Champions League would be nice. I don't
Get in it or win it?
No, just to get in it.
Oh, right.
Get in it for next year, man. Get in it for next year. Easy. Listen,
Love
cheating,
that,
yeah.
though. Love
But
that.
yeah.
Big up, man. I hope we'll stick to them.
Yeah.
I'll go with. I want to learn Italian this year.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. So I
Bruv,
learned
you're becoming a
Spanish.
multi-linguist, you know.
Yeah, I've learned Spanish, so I feel like I can read Italian, like I can pretty much understand it because it's very similar. It's got a lot of Latin in it, which Spanish does as well. But I think that's just the next step for me, like to conquer Italian.
Yeah.
I also want to go to the gym a lot more. I actually got evicted out, not for anything bad. It sounds mad, right? But the flat I used to live in Liverpool last year had a very corrupt owner, who I won't mention his name. He's due in court actually for corruption. And he kicked me out of my flat because I had a dog. Not that my dog did anything, but he kicked me out and we moved into this new flat. But I stayed in good contact with the concierge at the old place, which had a gym. So I have a free gym, a 5-minute walk away. So I need to get in that a little bit more.
Mate,
And every
use
time
that.
I go in, he's
mate.
like, "Lads, you've fallen off, haven't you? You used to come to the gym all the time, lads." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been in Qatar, mate. You know what I mean?" But
Do you know
now I
what it
need
is?
to get back, bro. 100.
Sometimes when it's like the most convenient for you, like it's 5 minutes away, it's round the
Bro,
corner,
it's
you're
free.
just a bit like,
Mine, I
I'll get to
literally
it.
don't have an excuse. It's free,
Bro.
Do you know what I mean? So
I
need
went
do
to,
that.
I'll film some content with Louis. Do you know Louis from
Yeah.
Chelsea? You want to see his flat, man.
Yeah.
The stuff
Where
he's
does he
got
live?
in there is mental. He lives in Wembley,
Oh yeah.
and it's like one of the, I've never seen it because
Hang on, with Beneventi.
Beneventi, yeah.
Right, yeah.
And I've been,
I saw the video of him cutting your beard, didn't it?
Yeah. He does. That's a good show, man. But he's got like this. He lives in this place, a lot of money.
New gaff,
It's
yeah.
a lot of money, like. But see, I grew up in East London. I don't know about all these
Yeah.
fandangle places that they've built now,
Big-
right?
yeah.
But this place has got a gym, a communal eating area, a communal
Wow.
work area.
What's this?
I've got that where I live.
I can't remember what it's
Yo,
called.
that's
right?
a complex,
and then you go upstairs. It's got like a barbecue, and
Rooftop,
everything.
yeah.
Studios,
Oh, wait,
filming
is this
studios.
in Wembley?
No way.
Yeah,
Is this in Wembley?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like those
new
Canada Garden
Don't-
place.
Don't
Yeah, don't bait it. It might not be that. We can't. confirm or deny. But yeah, big up. Tosin, what's yours?
Start a company.
Okay.
Number one, start a personal
up.
goal. Start a company.
What company can we get? Any?
Clothing.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's a
so-
massive.
'Cause I've been doing research all year, and basically, no one, a few people in America do it. No one in Europe is doing it. So hopefully it takes off. My target long term for it is to be like a company that grosses like hundreds of thousands pounds like a year, maybe millions. Who knows?
Aim for the sky.
And personal and club goals, of course, Arsenal to win the league, easy. Win that title. Sign
Win that
Mudryk.
title.
Win that title.
Hey.
win that title. It's winnable. It's there. Just take it.
We might have, big up to everyone, by the way, for sharing their personal and club resolutions for the new year. We're just looking at this Newcastle game here. There could potentially be a red card for Kieran Trippier. We've also got a keen eye on the Man City game as well. Also, there's been a correction, not an Andreas Pereira goal, a James Ward-Prowse own goal on the 32nd minute in that game at Craven Cottage.
Why do they bother with that, man? Just give it to him. If it's that close that they could have given it to him, just give it to him. I'm sure James Ward-Prowse is going to be over the moon with that.
Oh, apparently it's maybe a red card for Haaland. We're talking about a high foot, a lunge, apparently. There was also a shout for a red card for Trippier to be last man, but that has fizzled down now. But they're saying he will be very lucky if he stays on the pitch. A bit of frustration. He's gone in at speed with force. This is Peter Walton talking through the situation. Has this gone to VAR? Are we waiting for a decision?
Please.
That would be crazy.
Please.
If Haaland gets sent off,
maybe he just
straight
wants to
red,
do years off.
Wow.
Yeah, probably.
Steve Sidwell saying it's a yellow card for him. Half time now between Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. So what are we waiting? Is this VAR then? Has it gone to VAR?
It must be.
It must be if they're getting the ref involved. Well, we'll obviously let you know what happens there as soon as we get it. I think there's been a yellow card for an Everton player in that kind of melee as well. Yeah. But we're still waiting. We're still waiting to find out what's going to happen to Erling Haaland here. Like I said, half-time now at Dean Court. Fulham 1, Southampton 0. Man City 1, Everton 0. And Newcastle 0, Leeds 0. Not a plethora of goals to go through for you, but we're still waiting here. They've slowed it down. They're looking at VAR. Most of the pundits saying it's a red card. Jermaine Gina saying it's a red card. Joe Cole saying it's a red card. On this sporting broadcast that we are watching. I won't mention the name, of course, because this is a lot better, if I'm honest. You should be watching this. Just whilst we're waiting on that, a question for you, Arsenal fan. If Arsenal lose a game, I would be disappointed, but that's the game. Is it too early to predict, says Sheets of Metal.
Arsenal lose a game.
If Arsenal lose a game, I would be disappointed, but that's the game. Is it too early? I think what he's saying is it too early to call Arsenal title favourites?
Yellow.
It's a yellow.
Is it too early to call
He's
Arsenal
been given.
title
Just we'll come back to you on that one, but just going back to this Haaland stuff, they're saying it will be lucky if he gets a yellow, and he has got a yellow. There's no red here. Half-time is going to come at a good time for both teams, apparently, in the City-Everton game. But temper's definitely flaring. And I think maybe Haaland has been very lucky there. I mean, listen,
send
we need
him off,
see it,
man.
You've got to see these things with your own eyes. But
get him off the pitch.
Maybe he's got away with that one there. Now it's half-time as well at Craven Cottage. Fulham 1, Southampton 0. Man City 1, Everton 0. Newcastle 0-0 with Leeds, and Haaland stays on the pitch. Let's go back to Arsenal, seeing as it is half-time in most of these games now. A question for you. Mudryk, is he close to signing for Arsenal? That's a big question that a lot of people are asking. Let's just watch this video to get us in the mood for this debate.
With someone like Odegaard, who was ridiculously good in this game, alongside with Saka, this chemistry over here is something very special. Really, really special. They both are, and we cannot forget Ben White. Another ridiculous performance as well. This whole right-hand side, this triangle is just seamless. They know exactly where each other are going to be. They love to just do their little 1-2s, intricate plays. They have no problem underlapping, overlapping. They're just all comfortable. The chemistry, I would not be surprised in training if these three are not inseparable. Just constantly talking to each other, constantly training and working on new moves, because it is really seamless, and it's something that can only be done on the training ground, what they do.
So, Shakhtar Donetsk player Mudryk, is he close to signing for Arsenal? We've seen the hype, we've seen the plaudits that he's been getting, so much so that Brighton boss De Zerbi has actually said that he will win the Ballon d'Or one day.
He used to be his former coach, didn't he?
Yes, he did. A lot of money for someone who's technically unproven, if you want to call it that, in the top 5 leagues. But they need to pay these figures if they want to win the league. Do you think, from an Arsenal fan's perspective, is he the answer? Is he the man that you're pinning all your hopes upon? Or is there other areas that Arsenal need to strengthen before they go in for someone like Mudryk, who is definitely keen for the move? We've seen him drop loads of hints. He wants to come to Arsenal.
Yeah, I think he's 50% of the answer of what we need. I think if we get him and a central midfielder, a able deputy for Thomas Partey, we're winning the league. It's confidently we're going to win it. But I believe we'll win it. I believe we're going to win it. But if we get those two, man, it's game over. It's actually game over, because now we're going to Man City levels where one world-class player comes out of our team and we're having someone who could come in seamlessly. I really believe Mudryk will be a fantastic signing for Arsenal. Say what you want about the price tag, say what you want about unproven, but the fact of the matter is he was one of the best left wingers in the Champions League group stage that we've seen this season. 21 years old, super young, got lots of potential. Arteta works well with young players. Bring him into that team. I see no reason why he can't thrive at Arsenal. I think he's 50% of what we need. If we can get him and another central midfielder to help out when Partey gets injured instead of El Neni.
So someone on my right here saying if they sign them, you win the league easy. But someone on my left, as a Tottenham fan,
not easy. But I'm confident we win the league. It's game over.
Fuad, how do you react to that as a Tottenham fan?
I hear it. I hear the confidence, to be fair, and I personally rate Mudryk very highly. Like, from the Champions League, what I saw of him, and before that I was seeing like compilation clips where I was like, mate, I've never seen a white kid this fast. Like, Iron Robin was the last
It's actually true, yeah.
just purebred athlete though, but he's so good in front of goal as well. You can question obviously the level of the Ukrainian league, but I think this is where you kind of, it's the gamble of the 70 mil. Is he worth that or is he not? I think if Arsenal have previously learnt their lessons with Pepe, they would be more cautious, especially seeing how much Liverpool have just signed Gakpo for as well.
That's true.
You don't want to kind of get your fingers burnt. Seeing United 100 mil on Anthony, that's not really going swimmingly well. So, if I'm Arsenal, I wouldn't be too desperate to try and overpay, because I don't think at this present moment in time he would be that game changer. I think over the 6 months he'd be settling, getting used to the team. He'd probably be almost like an Arshavin when he came in January. But I think next season is where you start to panic a little bit, where they've got everybody fully fit, fully developed and settled into the system. I think it could be a problem if he signs, but not right now in my opinion. I still think they won't win the title.
I disagree. I think you look at Ukrainian. He's Ukrainian. He's coming from
trenches. Trench, baby.
This is a guy, like, people were making jokes saying, like, they were basically putting pictures of someone eating like a big tray of food when Mudryk signs for Arsenal. This is a guy who's hungry. That's what we need. This Arsenal team, again, people may call me biased. I see a group of people who are hungry to do something great. And all you're going to be doing with Mudryk is you're bringing another person who's hungry for greatness, putting him into that team under a manager who also wants to do something. It can only be good.
That's a huge factor, I think, as well, is he is someone who actually wants to play for the club. Yeah. And he's not just like, people can say it's twerking or whatever, but when a player puts his chips behind the club and says, no, I want to play for them because I love them, I grew up supporting them. And I feel like what you said there as well is a lot of the players at Arsenal right now, you look at Saka, you look at Martinelli, Emil Smith-Rowe, Nketiah, they're just happy to be there. They know they're literally trying to restore Arsenal to former glories, and they're almost seeing themselves as like this new age, new wave, almost what Vieira, Henry, Perez, and all them were in 98, 99. They can be that generation. And if Mudryk can be kind of the cherry on top of the cake that's already being built by Arteta, go for it, man, in my opinion. But don't get desperate, is my thing.
Yeah.
You've seen Sancho, you've seen Anthony, you've seen Pepe firsthand, who's now, where is he? Nice.
Playing for Nice.
Hey,
but the thing is,
South of France.
But the thing is, Mudryk is not desperation. This is a player we actively wanted in the summer.
But my thing is, what I mean in desperation is don't overpay 80, 100 million. Where, for me, there's still the gamble of he's not 100% proven.
Yeah. To be honest, I personally don't think Shakhtar, I could be wrong, but I don't think we're going to have to pay 80 M's to get him.
Okay,
I think
hypothetically, if you say
maybe 70
M's for
it's
him.
Not far off it though, is it?
I'll take it.
Or Zaha, 30 mil, right now.
That's tough.
Because you've got Premier League proven right there. Loves Arsenal as well. will die for the club. I remember they were putting his name up in the clubs and stuff, and he was like, big up, I love the Gooners. So you've similar situation, but he's proven and one is unproven. Who are you picking?
I personally would take Zaha. I would. But
Contract up in the summer. Get him on a free.
I personally would take Zaha. But the only reason why I'm saying let's go for Mudryk is I trust Edu.
Shiny
and I
toy
trust
excitement.
Arteta. No, I trust Edu and I trust Arteta.
Yeah.
Because we had lots of pressure last January. Buy a striker, buy a striker, buy a striker. We wanted Vlahovic. It was clear we wanted him. We couldn't get him. We could have panicked. We could have panicked and bought someone else. But we said, you know what? We only want the player that's going to fit the profile of what we're trying to do. And we got burnt for it, but we end up getting Jesus, who fits exactly what we want. So that being in mind, Ben White, it was laughed at when we spent lots of money on him. Thomas Partey, all of these players. So they've got now a track record of bringing in players that actually fit in with the identity of what the club's trying to do. So if they're really going all out for this Mudryk, I'm thinking they must see something.
They've done their homework.
They must have done their homework. They must have done their research. There's definitely a reason for us going so ham for this guy. We wanted him in the summer. We couldn't get him. We're going for him again because we most likely know if we don't get him now, someone's going to snap him up. So because of that, I'm saying let's get him. Let's get him. And he's going to help us.
I think this is a fairly similar situation to compare them to, because did we need Gakpo out of all the positions that we need to buy? No.
Bro, it's confused me, that transfer.
But at the same time, out of nowhere, we've got him, yes, to replace Diaz and Jota's injuries, but we've got him before anyone else could. And I think that's sometimes what you have to do, even if it isn't the person you need. We need midfielders before another striking option, but we haven't got it. But the person that we have got is someone so sought after that we had to put our hat in the ring.
Firmino to leave.
Do you know someone?
Firmino to leave, and then Nunes and Gakpo fight out for that central role.
No, because Klopp has said in his last press conference that he fully expects Firmino to sign a new deal, which will only be 2 years max, I think, just because of the age, which I'm fully all for, because it means that we'll have 10 years of Firmino if he stays for 2 or 3 more.
I hate Firmino, man.
Do you know what's mad?
Because he always scores against you.
Because he always scored against Arsenal.
Well, you mentioned Vlahovic earlier. Do you know who you would have got if you never got Vlahovic? Who you were linked with that window? Darwin Núñez. Do you remember that?
I'd take him.
35 million at that time.
I would take him.
And then some of these bozos came along and said, "Oh, we got money."
He's a good player.
I remember you at the time saying it was a panic reaction by...
Yeah, I'm still on your necks.
Okay.
I'm still on your necks.
Mudryk, what do you think of him, Nicky? Is he the answer to Arsenal's problems? Not that they've had many problems this season, but is he the man that they need?
Yeah, I think so. I watched them the other day, Arsenal, Boxing Day, and they're impressive. They're an impressive outfit. And they've got a lot of youngsters in there, and they've got a little bit of experience. Partey's experienced, Xhaka's experienced, and they've got a nice balance there. And I think, I know Saka's young, but he's a mesmerising player. He's really something to watch. They've got Smith Rowe's come back yet as well. They start adding quality to that, and that's what they've done really well over the summer. They've added a bit of quality. Zinchenko is experienced, Jesus is experienced, and they've got title-winning mentality. They know what it takes to win a title. So if they can just add more quality to it, they can only get better. I don't think they need much. I don't think they need much. I don't think it's one of them situations where you get into a transfer window saying, if we can get 4 players, I think we can kick on. I think they need 1 or 2. That's it.
They've put down the body of their work over the last couple of windows anyway, and I feel like their squad is kind of at that young level where they've built the spine and the 11 of it is pretty much set. Now it's just the cake is there. Let's add the icing and the cherry on top, in my opinion.
And plus, people are forgetting. Yes, Tottenham went on a mad run towards the end of last season. Yes, we sold Aubameyang, but I'm confident of it. If Saka and Martinelli weren't burnt out by the end of the season, we're getting top 4. That was the problem then, and I personally believe that's going to be a problem come the business end of the season. These guys, of course, Ødegaard is now coming into form now, scoring lots of goals. We got a decent replacement for him in Fabio Vieira, but Saka and Martinelli are so crucial to the way Arsenal play. If one of them is completely off it, you see a massive difference in drop-off in quality in the way we play. So I think if being able to now get a at least on Martinelli's side, Mudryk looks to me like a like-for-like replacement for him in terms of speed, in terms of what he offers, in terms of taking on his man. Come on. Like, why wouldn't you take him?
With title-winning teams, you need players of that level across the whole squad. You know, you can't have filler. You know, you can't have a great 11, a great 15, and then add 8 players that, you know, you need quality across it. And that's what Man City have got. They've got quality across the squad. It's convincing them to come, you know, because, you know, if you're getting into a transfer situation, he's going to tell you, am I going to play in front of Thomas Partey? Well, probably not. He's playing out of his skin at the minute.
Yeah.
And, you know, is he going to turn around and go, well... But I think Pep is a good... sorry, not Pep. Arteta is a good Pep clone. And I think he's got the gift of the gab about him, and I think he can convince people to come to Arsenal. And I think they're going to...
Arsenal have that heritage.
They're setting a nice foundation. Yeah. And yeah, it's good to see Arsenal back, to be honest.
Just need to get rid of Cedric now, we're good to go.
He's linked with a couple of clubs as well.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Just get rid of him.
Just quickly, before we head into a very entertaining video that I can't wait to watch myself, because it's Lee and Abby and doing something very funny. But just a quick score prediction for tonight's game. We'll go back into it in the second half a little bit more, but can you win away at Brighton? It's been a bit of a tough place to go recently.
They've been our bogey team the past few seasons. But I think 2-1, Arsenal.
2-1. Okay, the Arsenal fan is confident. Speaking of Arsenal fans doing something they didn't want to do, get a load of this.
We're here at White Hart Lane. If you will remember correctly, we made a DR Sports prediction battle bet where if Lee lost in the battle, he had to buy 5 Tottenham shirts.
No!
What is the problem? We already decided.
I am not going to White Hart Lane. It's not going to happen. You're not going to make me go.
All right, well, you better win then. I'm just waiting for Lee because he is running a little bit late, but I don't know why he's avoiding it because a bet is a bet. You made it!
Hello.
Hey, it's so good to see you. How do you hide your face?
I can't believe I'm here, like, you know what I mean?
Very exciting.
Oh, do you know what? I've not slept all day worrying about coming here, like, you know, so...
I'll protect you, don't worry.
Thank you very much.
Don't worry.
Am I going to be safe? Yeah,
you'll be fine. Let's go and get shirts. Let's not procrastinate.
Okay. Well, World Cup's finished now, Abby. What did you make of it?
I kind of loved it, more than I thought I would. How about you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I also enjoyed, you know, the prediction battles that we had.
Yes.
And obviously, that's why I'm here.
That's because you lost.
I lost.
But I'm actually really happy prediction battle is going to continue for the rest of the season. So then who knows, at the end of the season, I might be at your place.
Yes, if you can get a couple of your mates involved with it as well and have that little bet that we did, it just adds to the spice of it.
Yeah, and you know what, when the stakes are this highly, that you've got to come to Tottenham and get 5 shirts.
Do you know how bad those stakes were? There was one part of the game when I knew I was losing, and it was, do you think Harry Kane's going to score? Now, I'd put down no on every one, but I had to put yes.
Just in case.
Just in case, because I knew that you was going to, because I couldn't afford to lose that point, like, you know. Unfortunately, like, I did win that one, like, so, because Harry Kane did score.
But you know what? You might have won the battle, but you didn't win the war.
Oh, well, there you go. Like. Listen, I'm coming to White Hart Lane here now, and as bad as it is, I am coming here with Arsenal being top of the league. And before we go in there, guys,
that is an actual disgrace. Actual. So here we are at the iconic, biggest fan merchandise stadium in all of Europe.
Yeah, and it's empty. But listen, we're not allowed to actually film.
We're not allowed to film because it's that exclusive.
Well, at the Armoury, because you know, Arsenal fans are respected, we're allowed to do that. But you know, because we're here now with Spurs, we're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, but do you know what? If everyone can get it, who wants it?
Well, here I go, lads. Hello. Well,
stand round.
Hey, what's going on here, like, you know? Thank you very much. You don't get that at the Arsenal.
Funding our transfer policy?
Oh, I know, this is the bad thing, right?
Don't you want a bag?
No, with a bag, do you pay me to have the bag, or?
You pay me to have a bag.
Really?
Yeah.
Do we need a bag?
I think we need a bag.
How much is that bag?
20p.
20p. I think I can go. 20p. Like, you know,
20p.
So then, these are the shirts that I want, I require. There we go. Thank you very much.
How does it feel to buy 5 Tottenham shirts?
5 Tottenham shirts. 5 Tottenham shirts. 4 cannons. 3 Premier Leagues.
No Champions League.
So some lucky people that follow you are going to get some Spurs shirts.
I know.
Courtesy of me.
Very happy Christmas.
Yeah, have a nice Christmas, you know.
I think it actually is better the fact that it's even bought by you.
There you go.
I know.
How much is this so far totting up? £420.
£400 and 20p. I'm just going to take a photo of that, how much it actually spent.
Well, I'm going to have to put it in there, aren't I?
Yeah. Expensive bet to lose, Al.
It is a very expensive bet to lose. Have a lovely Christmas.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, you do look nice with that Tottenham bag. Oh, you do look good.
Let me get the door for you.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
That is unbelievable. I never thought in my life that I would see the judge walking around the Tottenham store buying stuff out of his own money. He had to pay with his own money. Buying some merch for Abby. Unbelievable. If you want to watch that full video, head over to DR Sports. We dropped it just before this video, so it's out there now. Make sure you go over and watch that. It's a good laugh. Good sport, Lee Judges, you have to say, right? Yeah. I never thought I'd ever see that, holding up a Harry Kane shirt.
He's a gentleman, mate.
He is. He's an old school.
I know
he keeps
he's got this real gritty Cockney boy sort of look about him, but he's a gentleman at heart. He's a gentle giant.
Gentle soul, for sure. No, he is. Big up to Lee. I haven't seen him for ages, you know. I can't wait to see Lee. I need to give him a big hug.
We went to the cafe the other day.
Yeah, I saw that video. So there you go. Abby beat Lee in the prediction battle across the World Cup, and that was his forfeit. Like I said, if you want to watch the full video, head over to DR Sports after this one. Or even get 2 separate tabs up and watch them at the same time. DR Sports, that's where the place to be. Right, second half is looking like it's going to kick off very soon in all the 3 o'clock games. The Leeds players are coming out at St James's Park. Do you know what? I have to give a special shout out to Tyler Adams. Right, I was at the World Cup and I saw him play every game. I actually went to every American game. Funnily, I don't know how I don't know how that happened, but he impressed me. The captain as well. I think if he's not already being looked at by the top teams, then he should be.
He's a good player.
Because he was pinging it about.
Yeah.
And no one could really get past him, if I'm honest. So there you go. Still 2-0 Crystal Palace against Bournemouth. Fulham 1, Southampton 0. City 1, Everton 0. And Newcastle 0-0 at Leeds. This one, we're actually watching the City game now. We need to see this Haaland incident because I'm already thinking it's a red card and he should be off the pitch, but he's on a yellow now, so he's going to have to keep his head. Everton playing in pink today, away at the Etihad. There you go. In La Liga, Villarreal 1, Valencia 1. Edison Cavani scored, and then Samu Chukwueze scored an equaliser for the, I'm going to say, southeastern Spaniards, because they are. That's where Villarreal is. Right, I wanted to get onto this one. Let's talk about Chelsea. Todd Boehly, is he a madman or is he a genius in the transfer market? Let's have a quick look at this before we decide. Maybe not. We will get that video up, but they have spent a lot of money. Todd Boehly has spent a lot of money since he's come in at Chelsea. The spending looks like it's gone a little bit further with Nkunku coming in. They're also bidding, of course, aren't they, for Enzo Fernandez, who had a great World Cup as well. I'll ask the same question. Madman or genius in the transfer market? I guess time will tell.
Who are we talking about?
Todd Boehly.
Todd Boehly?
Todd. Not Ted.
Todd Boehly. I'm watching too much Ted Lasso, honestly. I'm sorry.
Do you know what? I'm
through you there, innit?
I apologise.
I
apologise.
I got you.
Todd Boehly.
I don't know.
No?
No, I don't know.
Complete.
I don't know enough about it to comment. So, yeah, I'm useless.
Complete scattergun, in my opinion. I think you look at the summer, they went from going from Koundé, Rafinha, all their primary targets, essentially, they missed out on. And then they ended up with a bunch of, I feel like, second options, whether that's Koulibaly or Aubameyang. And then now he's kind of seen how the season has gone on. He sacked Tuchel right after giving him all that money to spend, essentially. And then said, okay, now I've got Potter in. I'm going to give this unproven guy a 6-7 year deal. And then on top of that, now this window, I'm just going to go randomly buying players essentially because I've seen Nkunku come in, and I'm like, okay,
big signing.
I don't know if that was somewhere where they needed. Good signing though. Who else have they got coming in as well?
Fofana, the striker.
Detro Fofana was another one. I mean, this kid
There's a
from
few
Norway
as well that have come on.
hot prospect, but from what I heard, Brighton were after him, and that seems like a next natural progression step from the Norwegian league. Chelsea now, I can imagine they're probably going to loan him into oblivion like they did with Marco Marin a few years ago. So I don't know what their approach, I don't know what the profile is, I don't know what the ethos at the club is meant to be at the moment. Is it we're building young, we're building, I don't know, a spine. I don't know what it is they're building. It just seems like they're basically, you know, the rich kid at the toy store. Oh, nice. Put it in the trolley. Oh, nice. Put it in the trolley. Oh, he's playing with it.
It doesn't
I want
actually
that too.
plan to play with any of these toys.
They're just picking things up that look nice. And I'm like, prime example of that was Cucurella, 65 million, when you've got Ben Chilwell, who's been arguably your best left back. And then on the other side, you've got Reece James, who's going through the same issues as Chilwell, but you're not signing a replacement on that side. So
doesn't make sense.
I'm confused by what their whole approach is. So I don't know. I would love a Chelsea fan to tell me, but every Chelsea fan I've spoken to is the same thing. They don't even understand.
I don't think they know, yeah.
No, they don't.
The amount of times Matisse and I have spoken about this, it is a scattergun approach because there isn't any thought or strategy behind it. And when you think about how good the academy is there, do they need to be spending all this money, or is it because he's got to come in and he's got to spend, he's got to be that guy that puts money down? I don't know.
I think
the one opinion I have got on him is it just shows you his football credentials. When he came into Chelsea, he pitched a 4-4-3 formation to the manager, to Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, and that's 12 players.
Yeah,
just in case.
And like, how would you trust a person like that?
The thing is, it's his ownership style obviously has been to come in, bulldoze your way in, because he cleared out a bunch of staff as well, and he thought basically football is like any American sport where you can come in, throw money at it, throw huge contracts at some star players, and all of a sudden your team turns around or whatever. Football is not like that, my friend. There's cultures, there's ethos, there's history, there's things you have to build from the ground up, and I feel like he's come in a little bit almost a bit cowboyish.
And not only that,
it's so funny. It's so funny you said that. That's literally the word that was in my in my head. Like, and not to be like stereotypical, but it's like he's literally a cowboy that just walked into a saloon and he's just waving his gun, shooting everywhere to show that I'm the big man in town. Basically,
I think that's what it is.
I think the difference between
it's not an NBA franchise; it's a football club.
This country and America, there's consequences here. You don't get to where you want to be. You don't reset it all at the end of the season and go, well, let's have a little roundup of the players and see who you can pick now because you come low. No, they're stuck with who they've got. They paid money for them. And if they don't get the Champions League, they're going to feel it. And I said this to Matisse the other day. I'm worried for Chelsea. I'm worried for Chelsea. Well, I'm not that worried.
Yeah, don't be too worried.
In terms of where they've been, they think that there's still this powerhouse. You know, they're talking about Declan Rice going there. And I'm saying, why?
Yep.
They might not be in the Champions League next year. Like, you know, I know it's his hometown club, but they let him go. But Chelsea now isn't the Chelsea that was under Abramovich. They're completely different. They're going to be a completely different club. There's remnants of what was there when Abramovich was there, but eventually that'll be gone.
But that's the thing. What Abramovich had there was he built a culture over 20 years of win now by all costs. Every manager that comes in, I'm going to back you the same way. And I'm not signing young prospects. It was proven stars, top of the shelf every time. Boehly's come in and it's almost like, manager, he's not my guy, get rid of him. Backroom staff, not my guy, get rid of him. Technical directors, Peter Cech, who was like one of the senior execs as well behind the scenes, got rid of him. So for me, it's just a little bit Wild Western.
I would ask as well.
Even the Enzo Fernandez, if you look at it, this guy signed for Benfica for 15 million.
For James Ward-Prowse, it's a free kick. Can you believe it? It's 30 yards out. He wraps it around the wall, and it's in. Maybe we are talking about the best free kick taker of all time in Premier League history here. He scores an own goal, and then he scores an absolute belter to match it. And that
he's good.
Predictable, isn't it? How good he is. He's what?
He's no Payet.
Oh, right.
He's no
Payet, from memory, he scored one free kick for West Ham.
How many?
One.
About 6.
About 6
in the season.
Definitely.
All right. Well, this
One.
guy scored about 17. So
Yeah.
I'm going for James Ward-Prowse.
It's Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, but he was only with us for 1 year.
It's definitely Ward-Prowse.
Yeah. All right.
He's like he's like to the Premier League. What, like, is it Mihailovic that recently
Yes.
passed away? Was to Serie A? Like,
Yeah.
free kicks, it's game over.
He is.
Oh, City. Is that
City look like they.
No,
Oh,
replay.
that's
It almost got us with that one.
But going back to the
you
Ted
listening to that on the
Boehly.
radio?
Ted.
No, I thought I saw the screen flash there. I thought it was a screen
Todd,
flash.
isn't it?
Todd Boehly.
It's Todd Boehly.
Yeah, you keep
Chris
saying
in the
Ted.
comments saying the jealousy towards Chelsea is mad. Nicky, you're clueless. Stick to your club, says Nick. Says
I'd rather
Chris. In the
not.
comments.
let me have a little say on your clubs if that's all right.
What's there to be? But what's
There
there
you
to
go.
be jealous about with Chelsea though? It's a mismanaged club.
Yeah.
Even Abramovich, he had a strategy, but that strategy is short term. It's not long term.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like everyone was saying it. Everyone was saying is, watch. Once Abramovich goes, now Chelsea are gonna crumble. No, we're getting money in. Blah 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 blah. I would even ask, like, are these signings even Graham Potter's? Is he even having a say in them?
Yeah.
Like, did you consult him about Nkunku? Did you consult him about Fofana? Maybe Fofana, because if Brighton were going to get him, maybe that's
Yeah.
it. Potter signing, but it's like, it's weird. How are you going to give a manager like Potter, who's going to need the full 6 years of that contract you gave him, you're going to give him that much time, but you're not really going to give him that much influence over the transfers, which it looks like.
But even that Enzo transfer I was saying earlier just smells of desperation.
Yeah.
Like off the back of a World Cup where he's kind of broken into the Argentina team, because before the World Cup he wasn't even getting selected regularly. He'd only
He's only
13
made his
games.
international debut in September.
Mate,
for
he played 13
Argentina.
games this season for Benfica.
Benfica,
He's
yeah.
just stepping into his stride essentially. But Chelsea have seen the World Cup, saw him get the medal, and because their situation is so bad and because Boehly's such a cowboy almost, 115 million they're talking about. I'm like, I'm sorry, no matter how good a player is, you've got to put serious work in to be worth that money.
Yeah.
Not 6 games. So listen, Enzo could be a good player, could eventually be worth it, but I feel like it just sums up their whole scenario at the moment.
Even Nkunku, like, where are you going to play him? Are you just going to do or are you going to do to him what you did to Kai Havertz?
He's another false nine
Sterling.
attacking midfielder,
Yeah.
like Havertz, and I don't know, they're linked with Felix as well potentially. And I'm like, all these false nines are going to get to do what?
He won't fit.
No way.
It just
fit in
just
Chelsea,
doesn't
no
make
way.
sense. It just seems like Football Manager.
Yeah,
You're just
exactly.
there, career mode. You've got unlimited funds, and
But
you're like, who am I buying?
They lost out on a lot of their targets, didn't they, in the summer? Like Koundé and Rafinha, yeah.
Yeah, but even most of their targets, no offense, but it's like they were like, it didn't even seem like they did the scouting themselves. They were targets that other clubs were going for, and they were just trying to hijack and gazump. It's like, come on. Even I even saw yesterday in Evening Standard that all of a sudden they're interested in Mudryk now as well. It's like, oh, come off it, man. Have you guys really scouted him?
Just
Or
copying people's homework.
you're just copying what other clubs are doing.
Isn't that what they always used to
Not
do?
jealous of Chelsea at all.
John Obi
Brighton as
Mikel.
well, when they took Potter, they took everyone around Potter as well. Like,
Yeah.
do your own work.
Yeah, sorry whoever said that. Not
got
jealous
the
of Chelsea, joke of a
They've
club.
got their sporting director and head of youth development, if I'm not mistaken. And Fofana was going to Brighton as well, yeah. So it's just basically.
Do you know what? I wish Abramovich was still in charge, because they would have sacked Potter by now and I would have took him at West Ham.
No,
I'm happy
I'm
Abramovich.
glad
He would've-
Abramovich has gone.
I'm glad.
Finally, Daddy can't
yeah.
get you out of jail.
Yeah, you ain't got your sugar daddy anymore.
Yeah,
to,
now you got a sugar
now you
daddy
actually
that
have
hates
to,
you.
Now you actually have to run your club like a normal Premier League club. You ain't got Russian money behind you.
LJ Brown super chat. He says, "Guys, just say London Cowboys. Yeehaw." I'm guessing that was meant to be pronounced in an American accent. We've seen a lot of delays here in the Man City game because the ref, not even the actual ref, the fourth official, the linesman, has had issues with his battery pack on his connection,
Oh, no.
on his communication system. I don't know, but that's taken a good 5 minutes to resolve. So it's back underway at the Etihad. Arsenal over Chelsea, says Anonymous. Chris again saying, Toby from Wish, you know nothing about Chelsea.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. Cry Plastics, Roman's gone, says Jack, Arsenal fan. Eman says, up the Chelsea.
They will be very salty as well because of all of this.
Chelsea fans.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Because they will, like, and you know, you can say what you want in the comments. I can't talk as a West Ham fan, but I don't expect anything from our club. But 20 years ago, the geezer come in as a sugar daddy. He's not there anymore.
Yeah.
He's not there to hold your hands, so you have to go and do it yourself.
Everyone was, as soon as the news about Abramovich hit, everyone was saying it. This is going to be the end of Chelsea. Chelsea fans, no, we've got history. We've just won the Champions League. Okay, cool. Daddy's gone. Now what's happening in the club?
I think that, listen, they're going to be salty, and I think it's only natural. You think 18 months ago, this is the same fan base that after winning the Champions League, it gave them almost a false confidence that they had 2 world-class 11s.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people forget that narrative that they were running, saying, we could compete with City, we're just as good, we've got Champions League titles. And then over time, the cracks showed throughout the season. And I think Lukaku was kind of the first almost domino effect to kind of happen. But then you just saw the takeover and everything that went wrong there. So listen, they've got every right to be salty, and I don't blame them.
Half their fans are already wearing Man City shirts. Let's not be honest.
And to be fair, that whoever made that comment, you're right. Like, I don't know much about Chelsea. They came here, they're a nothing club. A Russian guy came, pumped them full of money, used that money to help them win titles, and now he's gone. They're going to go back to what they used to be. So you're right. I don't know much about Chelsea, other than the fact that a sugar daddy has literally bought them everything. Trash club, man. Get out of here.
Fair play.
Talk your shit.
Big up to End Annie with the super chat. Great question, this one, gents. Come dine with me settings. 3 people you would sit down and have a meal with. ND is going for Sir Alex Ferguson, Wenger and Mourinho. The stories they could share. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you and everyone else that's watching as well.
And
3 people you would sit down and have a meal with.
I'd sit down with
Is
you
this
three.
alive? Yeah. Nice guy.
Who's cooking though?
Not me. 3 people, let's say they all have to be alive, right?
The footballers are just people
I
generally.
think football people.
Okay.
Football people. I mean, for me, I'd have Neil Warnock there. You guys know how much I love Neil Warnock. So Neil Warnock's there. 1,600 games he's managed. He's got some stories, trust me.
I'm definitely having Mourinho.
Would you have him there, yeah?
Yeah.
He'd be ordering all the expensive
I'm
stuff.
having Mourinho. He would,
Top shelf
he would just be
business.
the guy telling all the stories. That's what I know. I would have Ramos there as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
He would
one.
have
Sergio
stories from
Ramos.
the Spain camp,
Yeah.
the Madrid, PSG now as well. He can tell us, a little bit behind the scenes.
Come on, throw some names in. Who do you want to have dinner with?
No one really.
Marlon Harewood?
Definitely not. Not at his prices.
Adebayor, probably
No,
not as an Arsenal fan.
surely not.
Yeah, I would.
Really?
I would, yeah, because he's just an idiot, basically. Like, just to understand his thought process behind some of the decisions he made as a
A bit like
football
Michael
player.
Owen.
Yeah, Adebayor, I'd
same,
pick.
same category.
I wouldn't pick Wenger. I mean, I respect him, but I feel like it would be boring.
Ooh, that's harsh from an Arsenal fan.
No, he's right.
No, I respect him, but like Wenger is very philosophical.
Yeah.
You could learn
Yeah.
a few things, though.
Yeah, I could, but like
It's
I
dinner,
thought,
man.
I thought it's like
We ain't doing that.
Yeah, I thought it's like an entertaining sort of dinner type of thing.
Do you know I'd like to? Who seems like a laugh? Jack Grealish.
Grealish, yeah. I'd have Mick
Declan Rice.
McCarthy
Yeah.
there. Big Mick, my
Mick,
skipper,
yeah.
Mick McCarthy.
my manager. My
Skip a big man.
skipper today, big one. Brilliant question, though, from
Balotelli, I would
Andy.
have. Balotelli. Yes.
Any more just to throw in before we move on?
Trying to think.
Dinner guest? Let me think.
Cruyff. Bring out the old special
alive?
cigarettes.
You do know
Oh,
he's
shit.
dead, right? He died a long time ago as well.
Yeah, a long
I
time.
mean, his
You
son's
know what it is?
about,
It's because I saw him tweeting at
You'll be
Pele the
crying.
other day, and I was like, bro, it's Cruyff
It's like
alive?
when Michael Jackson tweets. Like,
baffled
hang
me.
on. It's like that Ian Wright clip. I thought you was dead.
I thought he was dead.
What a clip that is. Do you know what? Ian Wright. We've spoken about him as a guest on our football night out, the perfect football night out. He's there as well. Great question, though. Thank you for that. Let's get on to this next topic. You mentioned earlier that you think Ben White is world class, I should say.
I didn't say he's world class.
No, you did. You did.
Wait, I said he's world class. Did I actually say that?
Because people were saying it about you in the comments,
What?
right?
I did
But
not say
that
he's
moves
world
us on
class.
brilliantly
Oh, come
to the goal for Everton, Damari Gray.
Yes!
Massive goal at the Etihad this
Yes!
for the Toffees. Damari Gray, the winger, signed for only 1.5 million by Everton, has almost paid that instalment off in one goal. We will get back onto our world-class debate. But massive goal for Everton, boys.
Huge goal.
Massive goal for Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Newcastle.
on,
Newcastle's still
Everton.
playing, don't forget. And
Yeah.
They score and it could be massive for both of them. But
Wow.
Wait.
Demarai Gray gets an equaliser for Everton at the Etihad. It's raining there. You can see Frank Lampard. He's definitely not in a good position in terms of keeping his job as well. Talking about managers that could lose their job. Could he end up at West Ham being a West Ham boy? Who knows? I don't think you'd want him, would you?
He's never, ever coming back to West Ham. He'd never come back. He wouldn't be welcome back. He wouldn't want to come back.
Really? Wouldn't be welcome?
No, definitely
Bridges
not.
have been
Here we
built.
go.
Too many
Demarai Gray.
Wow.
His dad? Cool. Him?
Have a look at this. Demarai Gray. What a goal! What a goal that
went to
is.
pick that up. What's going on there?
That is quite unbelievable. Celebrates
Demarai Gray is capable of
wildly
that,
with
isn't he?
the
He's got
Everton
that,
fans.
like
Unbelievable strike from Demarai Gray. And again, there's only 26 minutes to go. There will be a few minutes added time through the V8, the equipment debacle with the referees. But not that long to go for Man City to pull this one back, but it is 1-1. The scores remain the same in all the other games as well. But that's a massive goal for Arsenal if you're looking to win the title for sure. Given away by Rodri it was, and then Demarai Gray goes down the left-hand side, cuts in and sends one. Very similar to the goal he scored for Leicester away at United a few years ago, if you guys remember that one. Very similar goal. But what a strike that is, and City need something now. Let's get back onto the world-class debate, because I think this one is going to ruffle a few
sound
feathers.
bites of this because there's no way.
You did.
Wait.
I'm telling you did.
Okay,
I heard
cool,
it with
fair
my own
enough.
ears. You did say that.
It was a slip of the tongue.
No,
So
because a
wait, can
couple
you
people in the
repeat-
comments
can you repeat back to me what I said?
Ben White, world-class. Is he having a laugh? But anyway, before we get into this deep and long debate, then let's
need
have a
proof
look
of
at
that,
this,
man.
because the other day Robbie claimed that KDB wasn't world-class. Let's have a look at this before we get stuck in.
De Bruyne, world class.
Oh, of course he is, Robbie.
When has he ever done it at international
Robbie,
level?
these are crazy.
Now hold on, I'm asking.
Robbie, he's
no, wait,
he's
one
world-class.
second, Mark. Yeah? For his club, brilliant. We in the Premier League, week in, week out, brilliant. Yeah. When has he ever done it on a world level? He's playing in one of the best, ranked number one.
Okay, that Belgium team stinks.
Belgium team ranked number one.
They shouldn't be one.
Ranked number one in the world over several years, by the way.
Yeah.
The golden generation and that, they ain't done nothing. He's the main guy. He ain't done nothing in any tournament. How's he world class?
Well, there's Robbie's opinion. Very controversial, to say the least.
Very
Me personally, I'm saying Kevin De Bruyne is world class
He is.
all day long. Are we all going for
I was
He
there.
is
I was
world-class?
there listening to
He
him.
100% is.
Let him babble on, you know.
Let him go for it. So you disagree with him, I'm guessing.
Yeah, of course he's world class.
He's world class.
Does it week in, week out in the Premier League. Week in, week out. Look, you can't. I mean this with the greatest respect, and I love Rob. You know what I mean? And there is debates here to be had. You know what I mean? But you can't base everything on a 4-week tournament.
No.
You can't. People
Impossible.
can come in into form, out of form. You play for good teams, bad teams. You can't base everything on a 4-week tournament. You have to base them on the Premier League and the Champions League, with the things that they do week in, week out. You have to. You know, you can't just tell me, when's he ever done it at an international level? Well, you know, there's so many players you could say that about.
Yeah.
So many. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think, of course, De Bruyne is world class.
Yeah, I think when you talk about world class, for me, it's like you're talking about a group of players who belong in a specific class amongst themselves in the world, essentially.
Yeah.
World class is exactly what it says. And I think KDB's proven that the big teams he plays, time and time again in Champions League, he's turned up. I've said, for me, I think from City's entire history of all the great players they've had over the last decade or so, he's done the most for them in the Champions League.
Yeah.
He's probably been, arguably, in my opinion, I think he's the greatest midfielder in Premier League history. He's done enough now, and by the time he's done, it won't even be close.
He's
He's up there.
definitely out there.
Listen,
I would definitely put him.
That's just me
amongst
personally.
the
That's just me
discussions,
personally. But what I
he's
do
up
here
there.
is like this. For me, it's the all-timer discussion. This is the KDB thing at the World Cup and international level. I feel like it starts to affect his legacy when you start putting him at the table of the all-timers. When you start saying, why is he not at the table with the Ronaldinhos and the Zidanes? It's because those guys turned up at international tournaments. It does play into a scope of it, but it doesn't affect whether he's a world-class player or not, in my opinion. I think maybe in the totality of his career, you could say that's the one black mark, and that's the reason why he doesn't sit at the table with the top greats. But he is definitely one of the greats, for for sure, and definitely world class.
Definitely world class for me, not for Robbie, because, and I quote, he hasn't done it at international level, which I don't fully agree with. But the questions that I've got for you are what defines world class? How long do you have to be playing well for? And do we overuse the phrase world class? So for me personally, to be world class, you have to keep on consistently deliver world-class moments. And if you do that across, I would say the minimum has to be 3 years. I'd say the maximum could be 20 years. But we're talking about players like Messi and Ronaldo, right, who we were speaking about earlier, Maradona, Pele. These guys, I would say, are in a kind of class of their own. They're beyond world-class. They're legendary.
They're generational.
They're generational.
When you say
talents.
generational,
Extraterrestrial.
yeah.
Almost, yeah. But for you, what defines it? Is it the time? Is it what you win? Is it how well you play?
Do you know how I like to do it? I like to look at a player, yeah, Kevin De Bruyne. Where would he not fit in? Could he play for Real Madrid? Yes. Could he play for Barcelona? Yes. Could he play for Bayern Munich? Yes. Could he play for any team in the world and get into the starting level? Yes. So he's world class.
Yeah.
That's world class.
That's one of my
That's
measures.
going all around the world, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think so. Yeah,
That's one of my measures. Is he getting into the to the top teams in the world? Yes. Is he top 5 in his position in the world? Yes. That plays world class.
Very true, yeah.
And that being said, I'll be humble. If I did say Ben White was world class, I'm gonna backtrack. He's not world class. He's a good player for Arsenal. He's not world class.
And there is
Ben
standards
White's not
to it
world-class.
as well, because like you'll see and this is no disrespect. Please don't take this with disrespect. But in the women's game, there'll be players that you say are world class in that game. In across the world, would they get into this team? And they couldn't play in the men's game. You know what I mean? So there is levels to it. So I'd say, like, what might have been world class years ago is not necessarily what's world class now, and what's world class now might not necessarily have been what's years ago. But look at a player, get a player, and like, be honest with yourself. Don't just say, take a player and just say yes because he's from your club. But look at a player like Kevin De Bruyne. Would he get into every club in the world? If you put him at any club now in the world, would he get in? He would, of course he would.
I think those two things, what clubs, can he get into all the clubs? Is he top 5 in his position? And for me, consistency as well.
Yeah,
has he been doing it for 3 years? I feel like nowadays we're quick to throw titles around. If you remember Bruno when he came into the Premier League,
United
did that madness for like a year, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's world class," and I was like, "Guys, do we not know? Have we not heard of like hot years?"
He had world class impact.
So this is another question
He had world class impact at United, but he's not world class.
But for me, but being held to a world class player standard is when you've been delivering those standards consistently for a number of years, in my opinion. And it's a minimum of 3 years for me personally.
So the next question, there are players that can produce world-class moments but aren't world-class players, and there's also this debate about club and international. World-class for your club, like Harry Maguire is for England, some would say, and world-class for your country are two separate things, right? So
club is more consistent. So you got to go
I agree.
with the most
Consistency, right? So what I'm going to do now, and again, guys in the comments, send in your names as well for me to ask the guys here. I'm going to ask you, are these players world class? Now, I'm going to defend some of them. I'm going to throw some of them at you. And there might be a bit of a debate here, right? So, a couple of easy ones to start with. Benzema, is he world class?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Robbie might say, what's he done for France? He
played for a long time.
It doesn't hold weight.
There you go. So we're all saying in agreement that Benzema is world class.
It's not always been world class.
Yes.
Hasn't. And again, this is another, there's so many categories to this. There's so many branches that fall off the world class debate, because you don't have to be world class for your whole career, and you might not be world class now, but you were in your peak. So again, important things to understand.
In his mid-20s, he was not world class.
For sure.
He was too inconsistent.
Luis Suarez.
Yes.
Begrudgingly for me.
Yes.
Again,
absolutely.
Has he done it international level with Uruguay? Has he won trophies? He's won the Copa America with Uruguay. I remember watching that actually. But no World Cup. So again, Robbie, is he not world class now? Let us know. But especially in that Liverpool era and when he went to Barca and at Atleti as well, to be honest, he was
top scorer.
In fact, I would go as far as saying he's the best football player I've ever seen put on a Liverpool shirt.
I agree. I would say that easy.
Over Gerrard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best player I've seen play
Best
for
player
Liverpool.
I've seen, again, Gerrard. Well, we'll
Over
save it.
Salah?
I don't know
Yeah,
about
no,
that one.
Suarez, yeah.
Listen, Suarez was
unbelievable.
nice, but hey, man.
Listen,
Suarez was
I could,
unbelievable.
some of the
I
stuff
don't know,
that guy
man.
used to do on the pitch.
Gerrard made me
A
feel.
lot of it was bad, if I'm honest. He was biting and being racist to people. But
You know what I'm saying?
at the same
We
time,
don't forget.
We don't forget that stuff. But what he did on the ball, he was world class for a
he
good
was.
5 years, I would say. Right, next up, Neymar.
Yes. Yeah.
Nicky on the fence with this one. A
Yes,
couple of
he
splinters.
is. He
Oh, he
is.
is.
He is.
It's people,
Okay.
people
There-
get fooled with the showboat.
Do you know-
Yeah,
but he's
there-
world class.
Do you know what it is?
He's a
It's,
world-
I would say
It's
just
annoying.
about. I would say
Though.
just about.
He's dipped in his career. He's had the dips. He's had the troughs. He's had the
Well,
peaks.
since let's be honest, since he's moved to PSG,
yeah.
he hasn't had like a significant moment in his career.
Yeah.
Brazil won the Copa America without him. Every season in the Champions
very
League, he's
good
been
this
kind of
season.
flopped. Yeah, and then he got injured at the World Cup, which is so
He gets injured
Neymar,
at every
if
World
that makes
Cup.
sense. Like
Yeah.
no, but it's just so.
The one thing that I can't say is world class about Neymar is the fact that he goes missing every year when it's his sister's birthday. That is unacceptable.
That's crazy.
That
that's
is
world class.
unacceptable.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't. You're not.
It's
You
true.
would never. Again, we've spoken about him so much today. You'd never catch Ronaldo doing that. You'd never
It's
catch
true.
Messi doing that.
professionalism
His
is quite poor.
professionalism and the sacrifices that he should make, I don't think he makes them all.
True.
Which I think is a fact, really. So, for me personally, on the ball, he can be world class. But again, I've seen the ugly side of him where he's diving, and
Yeah,
for me, that isn't world class.
Yeah.
We're going to be using this phrase world class a lot. Next on the list, Mudryk.
Yes.
I would say yes, world
Luka
class.
Modric.
Luka Modric, yeah. Luka
Yes.
Modric.
That's a no-brainer.
Yes.
You're just gonna. That's a no-brainer for you. Isn't
Hey,
it?
man, listen, if I speak on Modric, I might be here for 15
might
minutes.
cry.
So, listen, people know how to think about Modric. My GOAT, man.
Yeah. Very, very good. Harry Redknapp always says he's one of the best players he's ever managed.
Greatest midfielder of all
Jermaine
time.
meant
Defoe
Crenshaw.
said he's. Sorry?
He meant Crenshaw. He took
Was he world class for Tottenham as well?
Nah, Tottenham was the...
He was loading.
Yeah, like Dinamo was that I'm a hot prospect wonder kid. Tottenham was that, all right, I'm going to get my Premier League stripes, because I think when he was at Tottenham, everyone in the Premier League could see he was a cut above everybody
was
at Spurs,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
and everybody could see it's only a matter of time before he ends up at either one of the top four,
Yeah.
as it was back then, or ends up at one of the big clubs. And let's remember, when he went to Madrid, was seen as one of the biggest flops.
Yeah,
and
for the
then
first.
the next 5 or 6 years, he said, watch my fingerprints be all over this team. Every Champions League win, you could
Yeah.
see Modric's impact within that. 2018 World Cup, Croatia's 4 million. Took them to the final. Next World Cup, semi-final.
Third place.
37 years of age, while Kevin De Bruyne is talking
balling
about
out
we're
as
too
well.
old.
At
Do you know what?
37.
I
Balling
realised
out.
he was a star when I went to watch. This was in 2013. I went to watch Real Madrid Villarreal at the Bernabeu. And this is a time when Ronaldo was playing, Bale was playing, all these guys. The name that was ringing around the stadium was Mudryk, Mudryk. And this was 10 years ago. Right? And then people think that because he won 5 Champions Leagues in a row, because he won a Ballon d'Or, he's only been world class since 2018.
Nice.
This guy's been world class for 10
You get them.
years.
He has.
You get them sort of subtle players that are the cog. They are the machine. Yeah, that makes everything else tick. And if you take
100%.
them out, then nothing else works. And that's what he is. He's like Pirlo.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah,
That's
I
him.
agree.
Just
And the thing is
a cog in the middle.
Cog turner.
And the thing is,
I used to hate on him when he was at Tottenham, because my brother used to always say Modric is world class.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the only thing I couldn't stand is 'cause at the time he was loading, but my brother used to compare him to Fabregas and say Modric is better than Fabregas. I'm like, come on, Cesc has been doing bits. in the Premier
hindsight
League.
now. But back
obviously-
then, at that time,
then,
I hear
at
it.
that time,
At time
changed a lot
scale
as well.
And
Yeah.
for me,
might have to throw
it was
Cesc in
the knockout game against I don't know if you guys remember. Real Madrid were playing United.
Yeah.
And Modric balled out at Old Trafford and he netted
Was
that,
that
long
the
range
green
goal.
kit?
Green kit.
Yeah.
Was
He-
that when Nani got
Nani
sent
got
off?
sent off,
Yeah,
yeah.
he did.
Maloa.
Where he
Yeah.
where he dummied the player.
That was 10
We know.
years ago, mate.
Where he dummied the
Yeah,
player and he
bad
slapped
memory.
it. But I'm like, oh my goodness, like this guy. And then from then on, I feel like he's just kicked on. He's like, this guy.
Mate, he's one of few
Next
people,
level.
yeah, who when you look at his career, he was a wonder kid, and up until 37, he's still a great
Yeah,
player. Like,
yeah,
only
he's world class.
Messi and Ronaldo can I think of people who've done that. Usually it's always you get 5 years in the middle, little 2 years maybe in your 30s, and 1 or 2 years at the beginning. The whole time, he's one of few players for me who's been the definition of consistency.
Yeah.
I saw him play for Croatia at the World Cup. Still
balling out
got it.
like crazy.
Let's move on though, because I feel like we'll be here all day with Mudryk.
I'm telling you.
Right, again, another person that I saw at the World Cup, and I saw this person become France's all-time leading goal scorer, Olivier Giroud. Now, before you answer, again, what we were speaking about earlier, world-class player, world-class moments. This is a man who has had a plethora of world-class moments. If you show someone a reel of all of his goals, you would say that is a world-class player. Wow. Is he world-class, yes or no?
I don't think he gets in every team in the world. He wouldn't start.
At his peak. So let's think about all these players now and at their peak as well.
No, I don't think, not every team in the world. He would not get in over a Harry Kane.
No.
At Tottenham.
But look at what he's achieved.
He wouldn't get in over Luis Suarez at Liverpool.
Agreed.
Benzema.
Agreed.
Benzema, no.
I'm a big fan of...
Who played up front for Barcelona?
David
Suarez
Villa
as well. David
Suarez.
Villa, yeah, probably would. I think
Ibra.
No,
He's not getting ahead of Villa.
No, he wouldn't even come close.
He is not getting ahead of David Villa.
Was David
Barcelona
Villa
Villa?
Yes, I don't think you'd say...
What, David
I don't think he was.
Villa?
Yes,
David Villa is one of the most underrated
David Villa
players
was
of all time.
absolute baller.
I liked him, but
World class.
Can I go? You look at him, yeah, what he was doing before he
Valencia.
even hit the limelight.
Yeah, he was
this guy
mad.
was bodying at Zaragoza, then Valencia, then he came to Barcelona, and he was a key part. He said, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice myself. But what people don't understand is in that Spain team, where everyone flirts with Fernando Torres, and
It was Villa.
he was the gunman.
It was his goals.
He was the main man.
Torres scored the winner in the 08.
Yeah, he got the clout. That's the trick.
But the
he got
breakout
clout.
star was
goal,
Villa.
But Villa was the main
man. It was his goals that got him there.
And that was up and like the
And in
whole
2010
6 years, the whole 6 years he was there.
Yeah.
And the thing was is then he went Atletico afterwards, still delivered again. Got them the Diego Simeone spell, he got that really kick-started.
Won the league with Atletico.
Then went to
he
New
won the
York and
league.
still done his thing. Villa for
But
me.
lads,
I know.
I'm hearing everything you're saying. World class.
Giroud ain't world class.
If Giroud ain't world
From
class,
I'm a big-
09
then
to
Nick was Villa
2012,
for me.
from
No,
08 to
but you got to
20.
look at it this way. Around Villa's peak, was he top 5 strikers in the world? Yes, he was. Giroud, even at his best ever level at Arsenal, I actually think he's gotten better.
Fine wine.
Yeah, he's aging well, but still, you can't really put Giroud in top 5 strikers in the world. You wouldn't. You honestly wouldn't.
Even to hold him to Villa, I
Well,
think
we've done a
really
poll
wouldn't.
as well. Is Giroud world class in the comments? So many of you getting involved. Villa, one of the best, says Neon. If we're going to throw Villa in, then we have to throw Torres in as well. Because in 2008...
At a point, he was world
He
class.
came third in the... Let me learn. He came third in the Ballon d'Or behind Ronaldo, Messi. We're asking the question, was he top 5 in his position across a few years? Yes, he was. From 07
I would
to 09,
2
he
years,
was
not
the
enough
best
for me.
number 9 in the
Not
world.
enough
Yeah,
for
he
me,
was.
man. I know.
I would say from that stretch, 06 to 09, Torres was a danger, man.
I wouldn't.
Come on. He was
I
one
don't
of the
know,
best.
man.
Say 06 to 09.
He was one of the
then. That's
best.
3
You're
years.
stretching it a bit.
Who's touching him?
06, 09, I'll give you.
Betty as well.
He was
Who was touching
quality.
him?
He was quality, but I don't
was
know,
coming
man. Them
near him
times you
in
got to remember
08, bro?
Adriano was peak. Zlatan was there.
All right, listen.
Like
listen.
you got to remember. Don't make me go back to the mid-thousands because the strikers that
But
was
Adriano was never world class, though.
who them
played for Inter
2
Milan.
years at.
Oh, so you're saying 2 years now?
No. I'm saying
Adriano
no, but that's
was-
what I'm saying. Torres for those 2 years was there, but for me
You
it's
can't
like
stretch Adriano's thing, though. You can stretch
Oh.
Torres' one. You can't stretch
I can
Adriano's.
stretch Adriano. He gave us Pro Evo, baby.
What? Because he had 99 shot power
Hey,
on
listen,
PES 3.
that
Come
is
on, man.
nostalgia and youth
Adriano.
forever.
This is
If
heated.
not for Pro Evo, Adriano is not world class.
Facts. Actual facts.
Come on.
And where is he now?
Yeah.
There you go.
favelas.
Stephen Gerrard. Easy for me.
Yes.
Easy.
Yes.
Easy world class. Nicky
One of the
knows
be-
all
one
too
of the
much
best
about
midfielders
Stephen
ever in the
Gerrard's
Premier
world-class
League.
performances on that sunny day in May 2006 in Cardiff.
Yeah, broke my heart.
World class all day
World
long.
class. Easy. That one's easy.
Eden Hazard.
Was.
Yeah.
He was.
Begrudgingly, he was for
what
a
are we
while.
saying? From 15 to 18? Or is that a bit...
13 to 16.
Because he's annoying, yeah.
17.
He kept doing like the 2 year hard, 1 year drop off.
Yep.
1 year world class.
So how long
next year
can you
drop-
stretch it for?
I don't know. I know he had like 3 years at Chelsea where I was like, he's unplayable. And then there was a couple of years in between where I was like, why does this guy get so rated so highly? And then at Madrid, I was justified. So, you know.
Okay. Next up, David Beckham. Was he world class? He was world class at set pieces. He won a lot of trophies.
Let's not minimize Beckham to a set piece specialist, please. That man was a football brain.
World class?
Yes.
For you, Nicky?
Undisputed.
World class ability, but I don't think he had enough as a winger to.
But in the era
Question.
he played in, did
Voila.
he?
Did he need that? Because he had Gary Neville doing the overlap. He had Roy Keane next to him
Gary
doing
Neville was
the doggies.
fighting for him.
And he had 2 strikers in the box on the end of all
When
of
you
his...
think about his era, would I have put him in any team in the world? I
think
don't know.
He gets
I
there,
would say
'cause
from 99,
he's got the
maybe,
pass.
yeah.
99 to 03,
He's got the
I would
passing
say
range.
he's a right midfielder for most of the top 5 clubs
He
in
is.
the world.
Yeah, I
He
guess
is.
so. Yeah. All right. I'll give
Figo
him.
I mean,
would be the only
Real
one-
Madrid literally did buy him in
Yeah,
2003.
Figo would be the only one I could consider in that era of putting above him. Nedved, maybe?
Nedved
But-
has to be there.
Nedved
'cause he
was
won a Ballon
opposite
d'Or.
flank left, cutting in.
Do you know what? I
Inverted
think
wingers.
you're around there. Del Piero was up there in that era as well.
But he's
Yeah, he
more
was,
number
he was more
10.
like a number 10, 9, innit?
Whether
Yeah.
he gets in over Perez.
Pires wasn't world class for me.
Yes, he was.
What?
Sorry,
End
the
of
name,
stream.
the name came up. So
What is
Stop
this?
it. What are you doing?
What is this?
What are you doing?
world class.
Bobby
What are you
Pires
doing right here?
absolutely was world class for
Stop
Arsenal.
that.
World
Look at
class.
the impact he had for Arsenal.
I know you lot
I
are going
don't
to do
think
this.
that. You reckon?
Listen,
All right. Maybe maybe I need to go.
Wow.
go
you know
back
when you
and
talk
watch.
about inverted wingers, that's a pioneer right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you talk about wingers who get goals from the wing, that's a
To be
pioneer
fair,
right
I think
there.
he scored about 80 goals for Arsenal, which
Bro,
for a winger
like,
is
he
very
cra-
impressive.
He did a
And go look at
madness.
some of the goals, yeah. And he was doing all of this
Scored a mad
while
one at
being
Anfield.
duck-footed. I don't know if you'll ever noticed. This guy he used to have some side.
Yeah,
work.
that
I
goal
said,
against
how does he
Villa.
even run?
That
I don't know how he does it, but it helped him
Yeah.
with the spammers. I'm
For
agree.
Fulham. Goal for
Oh
Fulham.
my God.
Thank you, Nicky. Who's it gone to?
Palinha.
Palinha.
João Palinha. Very late on there, Fulham looked to have scored potentially a winner. Right, let's carry on because I've got someone.
mud, mate.
Yeah, not
Do you know
great.
that?
Got one of them.
I've got some other names for you, chaps. Right, and again, this was my pick before the show. I put his name in. Peter Crouch.
No.
There were moments
No.
of absolute world, and this is why I gave the preempting to this question. Right, there are players that have had world class moments.
Yeah.
Peter Crouch's overhead kicks.
Al, I
Were they
think-
not world class?
I think every player's had a world class moment.
Yeah.
Every player that plays.
I've had world class.
Yeah, so have I. I remember. I
seen him.
remember. I
Happy
played in a-
Cisse had a
I played
world-class
in a game
moment.
once, and someone crossed the ball, and I went like overhead. I swear on my life, and my mates would back me up on this. I overhead kicked it right, edge of the box. It went in the top corner.
Trevor Sinclair.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
Really?
In a Sunday league game. It's a world-class moment. I'll never do it again. even though
That
I've tried it
moment, you were the
1,000
best
times.
striker in the world.
Yeah,
though.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Crouch has never even been top 10 strikers in the world. So I think that debate.
Listen, it was one for the moments. Let me have my moments people as well. A couple more names here. Paul Scholes,
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
world
yeah.
class. Yeah, I agree. Frank Ribery, was
Yes.
he world class?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Almiron, is he? I mean, obviously he's not a world class player. Someone in the comments here, but again, right now he's playing at that world class level.
No, he's not.
No, we're not. We're not doing that. You lot are doing that
he's not even
6
done it
weeks
for a
in the
whole
Premier
season.
League, and all of a sudden you're world class.
He's not even done it for a whole season. He's not even done it for half a season. He's playing well.
Sickening.
I'll give him that.
He's only done it
He's not
since
world
Jack
class.
Grealish slagged him off.
Didn't it?
Yeah,
He's been hot.
Do City look like scoring, says Sophie Lopez. 88 minutes we are into this game now, and it's end to end. City obviously having the majority of the ball. Phil Foden has just come on, maybe a little bit too little too late in terms of bringing him on. Maybe he should have started. But City
that
have
looked
got a
good
few
for us,
minutes
man.
now to get a goal, get a winner. A couple more names, right? Alexis Sanchez.
Yes.
Was he world class?
Yes, he was.
Arsenal, Alexis Sanchez, yes.
Yes, he was.
Dropped off after he left
Absolutely, bruv.
Yes, he
Even
was.
for Chile,
For
dunking
Chile,
on Messi's head
two
twice.
Copa Americas, he won them.
I'm sorry, and Barca. I forgot about Barca.
He won 2.
Udinese.
Yeah, back to back.
That is
Hey,
big.
man.
Messi lost 4 Copa America
But
finals.
Man
didn't
United
he?
onwards.
Yeah. Sad. Went outside. Where's he? Marseille these days? Getting dunked on by us in the Champions League. Hold that!
Hold that.
But he was world class though. He was.
He was one of the few players, I can't lie to you,
Ooh,
even
that's
when
a
he was
good
an
one.
Arsenal player, I fucking loved him.
He
Because I was like,
such a
you know what he
baller.
is? He's that
Tenacious.
technician.
Yeah, he is.
But he
He's got
is
that
willing
dog in
to
him.
die for the
And he's
team
got
as
that
well.
dog.
And I was like, do you know how rare it is to find players like that?
Yep.
Here's a good one for you. Griezmann.
Yeah.
You know what? I
He
would
is.
have always said no. This World Cup, he changed my mind. And I've said, you know what? You deserve to be in that World Cup. You look at it, how many different tournaments he's done for France, how many different roles he's played. From left centre mid in this one, left wing in a previous one, top scorer at the Euros one time,
Number 10 in this
second
one.
striker in
number
another
8.
one. Yeah. You think of the Barcelona spell, I think muddied the waters a bit.
Yeah.
But what he did for Atletico, the whole rise of Atletico
Yeah,
is
yeah.
partly in due to him. Let's be honest. When he came, that's when they really kicked on to be title challengers, Champions League contenders. And then, obviously, as a kid, he was
Griezmann.
killing it at Sociedad as well. But
Di Maria.
I think he was a real contender for player of the tournament.
Yeah, he was.
This
He was
World
up
Cup,
there.
you know?
I agree.
I saw him score a goal against Tunisia, and then the full-time whistle blew, finished 1-1, and then the ref looked at the TV, said, no, actually, all the players get back on, because I'm disallowing this,
Yeah.
and then blew the whistle after.
Damn.
So mad. Di Maria.
come on, man. He is one of the all-timers.
Yes.
Undisputed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Greatest players in the
Again,
game.
the United spell definitely muddied the waters.
6
but
months.
around all that, he was unbelievable.
Even in that 6 months, though, he was killing it up until the house robbery.
Yeah.
Literally.
Fair.
So you could say maybe
Scoring
after 6
quality
months,
goals,
he was killing it.
quality goals, quality assists.
I can't remember watching Di Maria too much, to be honest, in that period.
Think about what he did Champions League final.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Atletico.
2014.
Yeah.
Even World Cup finals.
Such
Man of
a
the match.
baller.
Yeah. 60
Well,
minutes he
scored
played.
in the
Still
World
one
Cup
of the best
final,
Such a
didn't he?
baller.
Ozil.
No.
At one point, yes.
2014, yeah.
At one point, no. Even like at one point,
2011, that last 2 seasons at Madrid up until the 2014 World Cup, I'll give him. So I'll say
Ozil,
2010 to 2014. 4
yeah,
years.
yeah, for a period
For
he
4
was.
years, yeah, he
Then
was.
fell
I'll
off.
give him,
He
yeah.
fell off.
I changed my mind, actually, yeah.
By the way, it is full time now at Bournemouth. Crystal Palace go away with all 3 points, 2-0, and there's 11 additional minutes at the Etihad due to the aforementioned incident with the referee's equipment, and there's a lot of arguing going on between both benches right now over that 11 minutes. Mane, I think, was world class for a good 4 years. at Liverpool.
He still is.
Yeah, he still is, yeah.
He still is.
Don't do that just because he left your club now. You're trying to take the tag off him. Nah, bladder.
He still is.
He still is.
Okay, I
Such
love
a
that.
Yeah.
great player.
Van Persie.
Senegal would have beat
Yes,
England.
he was.
He was, yeah.
Van Persie was.
Van Persie.
Yeah, he was.
If I speak, I'm going to be in big trouble.
World class.
Not for me.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Broke Shearer's
Not
record.
long enough.
Aubameyang at Arsenal, was he world class?
No.
He had world class impact at Arsenal when he was good, but he's not world
So
class.
this is the category that we need to nail down.
He's not world
the
class.
impact, the moments. How long does that
Van
have to
Persie
last?
for me wasn't long enough.
Miroslav Klose, one of the all-time leading goal scorers
Not
for Bayern Munich and Germany at the World Cup,
he
and
wasn't.
you were all saying he's not world class.
Werder Bremen was quality.
You think he was?
Yeah, I think he was.
World
don't
Cup
think he
was
was.
quality, but I don't think at any point you would have looked at Miroslav Klose throughout his career and said he's one of the best strikers in the world.
At no point has he ever been top 5. Never.
No point.
Michael Owen. I would say from
Maybe like
98 to 2002, he was.
Blood, you lot gassing up that
When he
Ballon d'Or
liked
with
football,
12
he was
goals.
good.
Huh?
When he liked football.
Because of that, because of that overinflated
That
Ballon
d'Or in
d'Or that he
2000.
won.
Ballon d'Or with 12 goals. Please, man.
12
Worst Ballon d'Or winner ever, man.
way, that's not
Don't
even
piss
true.
me off, man.
Yeah,
You lot gave it that offer Ayala
I agree,
slip.
Fuad.
Bruv. And then
Henry
offer
getting
fake
Ballon
treble as
d'Ors,
well.
but this guy
you
wins
see the
Ballon
treble
d'Ors.
that you see the
You're
treble
mad.
that they're gassing that year as well.
Listen,
Hey,
that
please,
treble.
you know what? Let me
Try
not
win a
speak. They'll
treble
start
before
saying
you
I'm a Spurs fan.
slagging off other people.
You see?
Try and win one. Anyway,
Owen was never world class.
last one before we move on. Fabregas, we mentioned him earlier.
Yes.
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 Yeah, I'll give him.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I wish he just never came back
Yeah.
to Chelsea. He
I-
ruined himself,
Nicky's
man.
nodding.
I wish he never went to
Penalty
Barcelona.
to Fulham, guys. Late on. That is our
stuck it out.
world-class debate
Should've
wrapped
stuck it
up,
out.
by the way. We've also got the Arsenal
Barca-
lineups for you very shortly.
That's why I hate Barca. They ruined him.
But let's talk about Fulham. They've got a penalty. I think Dan James has won it for them. This is to make it 3-1 if they can. But we've still got about 7 or 8 minutes here at the Etihad. Newcastle still 0-0 against Leeds, and Fulham could turn this from 2-1 into 3-1.
This is a chance for Arsenal to really make this count.
Damn.
Oh, sure.
If Man City
get them
don't score. Can I put a player in this world-class debate? Just one, all right? Giorgio Kinkladze.
No joke.
In what era? The
not for me.
Rangers era?
No, the Man City era.
The Man City? No. No.
Kinkladze.
He was a good player for
Not for
City,
me
but
at
come
all.
on. Not
I think
world
that's
class.
nostalgia coming out there.
Oh, definitely.
He was special, mate, and he done it consistently,
he was
week
good.
in, week out.
I've heard Big Steve
Jorginho?
talk about him. Jorginho?
For Chelsea?
No.
Middlesbrough.
Juninho, yeah.
World class
Jorginho.
impact, but he was never like
I
top
would even
5.
take Juninho Pernambucano over that one.
Yeah, exactly.
The free kick specialist at Leon, I'll probably take him.
By the way, I
over.
think Fulham have missed the penalty.
It's saved.
It's saved. Is that Mitrovic who's missed it?
To the left, to the left.
Well, there you go. Can Southampton get a late equaliser? That would be quite something. Right, Arsenal lineups. We are 34 minutes away from Brighton versus Arsenal. Let's see who Arsenal have gone with.
So at the back, unchanged from the last match against West Ham, except for Alexander Zinchenko, who comes in for Tierney. But you got Zinchenko left back, Gabriel and Saliba centre back, Ben White right back, Ramsdale obviously in goal. Midfield is unchanged from West Ham, Ødegaard, Partey and Xhaka. Attack is unchanged from West Ham, Martinelli, Nketiah and Saka.
Happy?
Yeah. Arteta knows his team.
He hasn't really changed it much either,
Yeah.
so I rate it. Well, there you go. That is Arsenal, how they line up. Can we see the Brighton team as well?
Let's go. Actually, let me not be disrespectful. Brighton.
Whilst you're getting that up, Al Guapo says Owen won the Ballon d'Or for scoring 31 goals for Liverpool and picked up 5 winners' medals. Fuad, what are you talking about? Says Al Guapo. There you
At
go.
the back for Brighton, Sanchez in goal. Oh, Tariq Lamptey comes in right back. Oh, that's gonna. Lewis Dunk, Levi Colwell centre back, Estupinan left back.
Estupinian.
Gilmore comes in for Moises Caicedo. That's a big blow for them if he's not playing. Pascal Gross playing alongside Billy Gilmore. Solly March, Lallana, and Mitoma, who killed Arsenal at the Emirates when they knocked us out of the League Cup.
Yep.
And Leandro Trossard up front.
So Zinchenko, the only change.
Zinchenko's the only change for Arsenal.
Arteta's team after Tierney started the last game. Chance here for City as they knock on the door.
This will be the second time in a row that City have dropped points at home, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, because they dropped points against Brentford, didn't they? I think that was the last game they had at home.
True. It looked like a bad injury for Ivan Toney last night at the game. You were there. What happened?
Coincides with his
Do you know
betting
what,
bet.
right? I was saying this as, I wonder if he had a bet on. No, I'm joking. He's got a ban coming.
Yeah.
For real.
For how long do you reckon?
A long time.
Be a long
Are we
time.
talking months, years?
It could be a year. I think it could be a year.
I think
Too
maybe,
much,
I think maybe 3 to 6 months.
Too much.
Maybe,
I think it could be more than a year, considering Sturridge got a 6-month ban for 3 charges.
Look,
Ivan
it's...
Tony's got up to 300
What has
charges.
this man done? Has he thrown games?
There was a very, very suspicious clip. I don't
Yeah.
know when he was at Peterborough where he's like handballed it on the line. But obviously we need to be careful.
man.
This is an ongoing investigation.
Yeah, of course.
And we've got
it's
to
all
be very
relative.
careful
I
about
just
what we
feel
say.
like
You know, it depends on what they want to do. They, you know, I don't get it. I don't get the whole thing. It is, you know, years ago it wasn't. You know, they really clamped down on this in recent years. And you're a Premier League footballer doing the job of your dreams, earning a lot of money for doing it. Why? Why get involved
But this
in
was
these
started
things?
before he'd made it to the Prem.
No, I
Allegedly.
do understand that. But even still, even if you're playing in the lower leagues, you're still doing the job of your dreams. Is it worth it?
Maybe
I
it's
don't
an
think so.
addiction. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe it's something to be taken very seriously. Whatever happens, obviously, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
But the initial point was he got a bad injury tomorrow, so all of our thoughts are with him. Hopefully he comes
what
back.
did he do?
Knee injury, bad one. Like stretch
3
it
to
off.
6 months, maybe.
Stretchered off.
I saw him. Yeah, I saw him.
Careful.
Maybe back in time just to save them.
Absolutely. Right. 3 minutes to go. Massive chance. Ball flashed across the box there from Phil Foden, but Everton will break away with Onana. And it's collected by the Man City defence. Off topic, but results in a graphic being red for finished games and black for live games is peeing me off, says Ian. Well,
What?
speaking of games that have finished, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2, that is finished. Fulham 2, Southampton 1, also done. And Newcastle have dropped points at home to Leeds. A massive chance squandered there for Newcastle to add some more points onto the board. They only take 1 today. So there are 3 games that have finished. And of course, City, Everton still has around 3 minutes now to go before that one is all over at the Etihad. The rain is teeming down there in Manchester, as it always is, to be honest. Now, would this give Chelsea a little bit... would this give Arsenal more hope, do you reckon, if City can drop points here? I mean, this now means that Arsenal must win and reapply that pressure and go further away from City. This is a massive result for Arsenal, is it not?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge for Arsenal. But I think, not to sound cocky, but like every game is a must-win for Arsenal. I don't think
that sounds cocky.
I don't think... I think this title race is going to go down to the last 2 games, if not the last game. And Arsenal, the mentality I'm seeing the players take is every game we need to go out there, get the 3 points. We need to kill. Basically, we need to We can't be. We're not. I don't see a laissez-faire vibe to Arsenal. I see a very serious. Let's go out. Let's get our 3 points. So. This is a huge result for us, but I don't think it changes our mindset going into the Brighton game anyway. We're not going to take it easy. They're our bogey team. They already knocked us out of the league, of the Carabao Cup or whatever it is. They beat us at our ground the last time we played them in the league at home last season. So I believe, going by all or nothing, maybe Arteta's shown, look, they beat you 2-1 at home. Look, like, are you gonna? They're your bogey team now. You're gonna let them do this? So maybe he's done that sort of motivational talk to them. But I think we're going in here with a mindset to win, irregardless of what City do.
7 points clear. Arsenal could find themselves ahead of City at the end of the night. I mean, we've seen big points gaps being closed, but is this maybe starting to become Arsenal pulling away now, Nicky? If they win tonight, we have to say.
City can't be doing this. City can't be dropping points like this at home to teams like Everton. They don't. I think, I said this at the beginning of the season, I was worried about Man City. They've become too reliant on Haaland. They've become too reliant on him. They used to have a very
intricate
system where it all swapped around and everyone knew what it was. And all of a sudden, and it's not even I don't even think it's a conscious thing, it's a subconscious thing. You get this absolute monster of a player, and you think he's the goal machine. Yeah. You know, just give it to him, he'll score. And it doesn't always work. Like today, it hasn't. You know, he scored that goal early on. It hasn't. I haven't seen him in the game since. Could have got sent off, yeah. And I think they've become very reliant on him. I think they've let the wrong players go to the wrong club.
Yep.
If I'm honest.
Are they going to regret that signing if Arsenal do win the league? Are they going to regret Gabby Jesus going to Arsenal?
I think Arsenal sold them to definitely not thinking that they would make the impact that they did. And not saying that those two solely turned Arsenal into title, but it just further solidified that 11.
Full time.
If that makes sense.
At the Etihad. Sorry to cut you off, Fuad, but that is a result now. And Tosin absolutely buzzing with that result, which means Arsenal do have the opportunity now to go 7 points clear at the top. Who would have thought it? League title done, says Super Mac. Yes, says Harvey. A lot of Arsenal fans are buzzing.
Do not get overcaught. The thing about this point gap, right? If they can win this tonight, Arsenal, this is a very, very, very dangerous point gap, because 7 points, they've still got to play them twice. They lose them 2 games, it's down to 1.
Yeah, it's not.
It's one of them point gaps where you think, I've got a little bit of distance now. You know what I mean? But it's also a little point gap with 2 draws. And they win twice, they're back on your tail.
Yeah.
Last minute winner for Villarreal over Valencia. Juan Foyth, the former Tottenham player, on the 89th minute have put them 2-1 up. True. Very, very true. Right. Production have sent me the predictions. Let's see who wins and who loses. Tosin went for Newcastle 2, Leeds 1. I can't give you anything for that, unfortunately. You went for Fulham 2, Southampton 1, which was bang on. 3 points for you there. Love to see it. Man City 3, Everton 0. Can't give you anything for that, unfortunately.
Mind that
Bournemouth 2, Crystal Palace 2. I can't give you anything for that. 3 points is not bad though, mate. Fuad. Bournemouth 1, Crystal Palace 2. I can give you a point.
Ooh.
Fulham 1, Southampton 1. I can't give you anything, unfortunately. Man City 5, Everton 0. Definitely can't give you anything for that fella. And Newcastle 2, Leeds 1. I can't give you anything for that either. So the most I can give you, mate, is 1 point.
Hey,
Whereas
win some,
Nicky,
you lose some, we'll go again
let's
next
see what
week.
he's gone for. Bloody hell. Newcastle 4, Leeds 1. I can't give you anything for that, unfortunately. Man City 5, Everton 2. Definitely can't give you anything for that, mate, unfortunately. Fulham 1, Southampton 0. I can give you a point for that, mate. And Bournemouth 1, Palace 1. I can't give you anything. 1 point, 1 point, 3 points. Tosin wins. The pair of losers are on my left, if we're doing that.
Hold on.
Thank you.
What about yours?
Well done.
What about yours? Your predictions.
I didn't actually get time to do this. I was too busy. I was too busy
You
hosting
see how
the
they're
show, mate.
ducking it, yeah? As soon as he saw Chili Challenge, he went,
So, by my calculations,
we have a loser here already.
Nil.
Voila.
nil point.
Voila.
Well, I didn't actually get involved. I thought we were stopping this chilly stuff after Matisse almost died during the World Cup.
No.
Was anyone here
You're
for
lucky.
that?
You're lucky.
I wasn't here.
You're lucky. We had an accident.
Jason's
you know
dropped the chilies, so we're doing them next week. I've just heard in my ear. Okay, we can't obviously eat chilies that have been on the floor, lads.
See you
Have
next
some
month.
respect for yourselves.
Hey, man. 5 second rule. 5 second rule.
What was the Barca Espanyol game, AGT? It was 1-1, actually. There was a red card in that one late on, which is a Barcelona derby, actually, those two teams.
Catalonia, darling.
Catalunya, too. Wow, what a show, guys. It's been a real pleasure being back in the studio with you guys. I've missed it. It's been 6 weeks since I've been here. I've been away. But I'm back now, and we're here ready to give you a brilliant Saturday football show every single week, right? Don't forget, Arsenal playing in 23 minutes. That one kicks off. Looking forward to that. Can they go 7 points clear? Massive shout out to Nicky. Round of applause. As always, Uncle Nicky, love it. Fuad as well. Brilliant contribution from you today.
Big up myself.
Big up yourself every time. And of course, my guy Tosin as well.
Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you for coming on,
Appreciate
brother.
that. Thank you very much.
Just to finish off the show, is Giroud world class? 52% of you say no, he
Well
is not
done.
world
Well
class.
done.
47%
See,
of
DR
you say
But he deserves a lot of credit.
deserves a notable mention, I think,
Deserves
is
a
the
lot
one.
of credit.
Right, I've been AGT. This has been the Saturday Football Show. You've been watching DR Sports. Take care. We'll see you soon. All the best.
Cheers.